Okay, man. Hey, man. Say, man. Do. Welcome to another episode of the Stuck in the Middle podcast, because you know what's up in this stuff.
Weekly.
Hey, week. Before we do anything, you know I got to talk about the fam I keep with me. Jerem's not here, bro.
B Wood got to start with you, right?
Yeah, it's kind of.
Well, B Wood is on his phone, so
Yeah,
he just
he's
don't
not
know.
locked
So
in right
what
now.
we
Making
do-
sure I'm locked in.
I'm making sure we do not disturb, you know, because y'all trying to listen in peace. It's B with Cooks. We locked in, man.
Corey from Corey's Corner. It's my pup Perry. You know what it is. Actually, maybe you don't know what it is. I talk sports. Football mainly.
Yeah, but today, you're on the pod. StuckyPod.
Indeed.
Welcome again to another episode where we are just, first of all, we're missing J-Man right now. That's my name for him today.
Coach F.
Yeah, Coach
He's
Hef.
oh, that's why he's on
Rev
there?
Hef.
He's Rev Hef?
I don't know.
I don't know what he doing.
I had to call him today for.
Might
I had
be
to call him
movie Hef.
today for something higher ed, so he was higher ed Fred today.
Oh, yeah, hired Fred.
Hey, he might be movie Hef and ditching apart for the movie or something.
Hey, who knows?
Nah,
I
you
mean,
know what I'm saying?
he might be.
This is big movie weekend. There's a lot of
That's what I'm
blockbusters
saying.
coming
There's a
out.
lot of going on.
You know what I'm saying? Wicked come out on Peacock, but then there's two movies in.
That's tough.
It's a lot.
I shouldn't have said, well, I got to say that back.
I mean, but still, it's
Peacock.
I think maybe it's just how you say
It's
it.
just the way
I said
it's
Wicked
a
came out on
separation.
Peacock.
Yeah.
I think there's a separation.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We got to have a little bit of
maturity.
no.
There's got to be there's got to be a miscall. Like if we call it wrong, we got to be able to
flag
drop
on
a
the
dollar.
play.
Yeah, flag.
I
on the play.
need to get a flag and
Yeah.
start throwing flags, bro.
We got to like owe something,
Yeah.
$1 or something.
I ain't giving nobody no money. I'm broke.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. Nobody gets money. We all broke.
It could be like a Stucky dollar or something, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
everybody
Like
gets
fake money, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody get a Stucky pod.
We got to do 10 push-ups or something. 10 push-ups on the.
Real talk.
We got to do 10
pod.
push-ups on the camera.
I ain't doing no push-ups either.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, man.
That's too much work.
I tried to kick that football.
I saw. What happened?
It's hard.
Hey, for a minute there, I thought you was finna crank that.
No, the second one, you saw the second one
Yeah,
got
the second
close.
one, all right.
Second one got close.
I watched the whole thing on YouTube.
Hey.
Not TikTok,
That
YouTube.
shout out to YouTube, man. And shout out to...
It looked good on YouTube. The long
don't
format, the way
Yeah.
the opening. I was like, yeah, I
Yeah,
love
like
that
how you
shit.
zoomed in and out.
That's why I hate that TikTok don't. I mean, I knew, you know how it is with long form and stuff, but I just wish they can appreciate stuff like that.
Because you get to produce more.
Yeah.
On TikTok, you can't. You're so
Yeah,
limited.
yeah.
Not to say that like TikTok is a bad platform. I love TikTok, but it's just you're limited with what you can produce, or you have to really be so thoughtful into if I'm shooting long form, I'm also trying to produce it for short form. So the things I have to do have to be able to complement.
You got
both.
it, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
And so that's why, like, even in long form, typically I wouldn't just stand in the middle of the frame.
100%.
But on this one, I knew I was also cutting for short form. So I had like safe frames in, so I can film for YouTube and for
Telling you, bro.
short form.
It's the best. Going in prepared like that is the best.
Yes, but it's still, there's some things I'm like, dang, this is gonna look way better long form than it is gonna look on.
It's
short
all
form.
good.
Yeah. I'm about to say,
It's
when
all
you
good.
sit on YouTube with the ads, I'm like, oh man, this shit look good.
Yeah, this is perfect.
I love seeing ads on videos. I don't know why.
No, it means you big time. You know, everybody verify check. But that, guys, this is what we do. We're just right now 3 out of 4 black men who just sit down and have playful comedic banter around pop culture. That being that, we know that you guys have a lot to say. We got comments to reply back to that.
Yeah, we stuck on.
Oh
y'all
yeah,
bull.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna be
bring
stuck
them
on comments today. Go ahead and bring that up, bro. Before we get the segments going and I
Stuck on
introduce them.
comments.
That's a new one.
I don't know. Remember the Jamie Foxx popping colors.
Arnold, shout out to you. What video is this?
Now I think this was the video where.
Oh, the
now this is
kids.
first of all, I think
Yeah.
these first 3 are from.
All the same from the same video.
Yeah, this was a popular one. This was introduce this one. This was yours, right?
This was like, who do you save first, right? Yeah.
Yes.
This was who do you
Was
save
it a
first.
burning house or what was it?
The scenario
doesn't
don't
matter?
really matter,
Okay,
right?
bet,
like
bet,
it's
Make sure that you say though that both are in need of saving. 'Cause
Yes.
I got this as a confusing point in the question, even when I asked it in real life.
Again, for me, you know how I feel about this.
you can only save
So-
one is really what the thing
Yeah,
is. You
yeah,
can only
yeah.
save one. Who do you choose?
100%.
Yeah, no, I'm just- 'cause I'm telling you.
I think people reach because it's just
Yes.
a way of commenting.
Yeah, so their way of trying
Like,
to get
it's a
something
way
else
of
out
getting
of
in
it.
there.
But
Yeah.
read one of the comments.
Okay, so Arnold, shout out to you. It says, my wife will be right next to me as we save our children. My wife is my equal, not another child of mine.
Whew, he came with it.
See?
So my wife will be right next to me as we save our children.
He's saying
so
like
we're
not even
doing
a question.
Yeah, we're not even
Yeah.
answering the question. We're just gonna say my wife and we're gonna say this kid.
And that's how I'm saying that's how I feel from a logic standpoint.
Yeah.
Like when I got married to you, it's not you and I, it's us. Like we are one. Yeah. So, and I chose that journey for myself. So there's no way that I'm not. But if we put real life application to it, granted, this is a question like, who do you choose? You can't choose the other. In real life application, I'm going to also try to save my child. But I'm telling you, I'm saving my wife first. Like,
so here, I want Brian to read the other two.
Yes.
And then I'll propose a question 100%. Right after.
For Sam X, shout out to you. The kid, and it's not even close. I'm not leaving the house without them, whether it's my demise or not. Child can't help themselves. Adults can.
All right, go to the last one.
Okay, Callie and Sino 03 or Sin 03. My bad.
These are all TikTokers, by the way.
Shout out to TikTok. Okay, I see you locked in. See y'all toxic. As a mom, my husband better not have me outside while my child is in there. Nope, kid first. What if y'all can't save the child? Now blame's getting tossed back and forth into everything.
But that's going to be the same.
Wait, there's more, right?
Yeah.
He says more?
Maybe.
No, that's it.
So I'm gonna propose a question before, because I don't want to muddy the waters. I want to ask a legitimate question, get a real insight around this. So that's just 3 of the several comments around this video that were made over the past week, and I found a thin, what they call a through line between what side you can potentially be on. And one of the questions I drew from that through line was, does your place in society change your answer? Meaning, as a husband, are you answering because of your place in society that way? And as a mother, are you answering in your place in society that way? I learned that there's a through line. What do you guys think?
I think, me personally, I think people who are, not everybody has the understanding in which I believe I have an understanding of what marriage is and the importance of the union in its relationship to our relationship with God. So that's number one. Not everybody's going to have that outlook. I think society has raised us in a way that men are always going to be the downfall in any of those type of situations, because in any emergency situation, what do we always say? You get the women and children first.
That's right.
Right? So then it's like, okay, from there, I can see why moms would always default to children, because the hierarchy is always women and children first. And then as a woman, we always have defaulted in what has been given to women as far as their responsibility, culturally speaking, is that they are the protectors of the children. They do everything for their children, maybe even more so when we talk about work balance than the dads. I'm not going to say that that's necessarily true. I'm just saying this is what the optics are, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So I get it when moms default to, I'm saving my son. I understand that, like, that's probably where they're thinking. I also would challenge somebody who is sitting there to say, think about how your husband views you. Your husband views you. If his answer is to choose you and your answer is to choose your kid.
Now what are we talking about? He said, this is the point I was trying to get to. I'm glad we got there quick, because the comment that was made by the gentleman and then backdoored by the second comment, who was I think was a woman. And her stance was, my husband better not have me out of that pool and have that kid in there. And he was, I'm not thinking about my wife in that moment, I'm thinking about my kid. So it struck me as odd, because I have to say, we don't have to wait until figuring out if the kid survived to have an argument. We should be having a confrontation right now. Wait a minute.
These are
so yeah.
These are early date questions.
That's what I'm saying. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Are you saying to me, without a question in your mind, if I needed saving,
you're choosing the kid
without question, and not even a thought?
I think the appropriate thing to do, if you have enough time, would just ask. I mean, I asked this question, and I think I was on TikTok Live, and somebody brought up a good point. Just ask your wife, what should I do? And then that's the
You're
love.
talking about in that incident.
So everybody making all scenarios, then the appropriate thing to do is, hey, babe, what should I do? That's what a relationship is.
Or
then if she says, hey, save
sure.
me or save the child, then move to the next thing.
Here's why I think you should probably even talk about it before, because a couple of things. Again, if we get to the real life application of this. In a crisis, bro, you're not going to think that. You're not even going to be, at no moment are you going to be thinking, well, let me see what my wife thinks
you're
about
in
this.
code
Right?
red in your brain.
You're in make a decision because I'm the only person that actually can save a life right now.
Period.
So let's make a decision, right? The second aspect of that, I feel like I just lost my thought when it comes to that. The second aspect of that is they're also in crisis. So a sane person might say, hey, I'm good. I can get myself out. If your wife is drowning, their fight or flight has kicked in. They may say, save me. Right? Mm-hmm. And so their decision-making may be also clouded. Mm-hmm. So it's in that situation in real life application, it's going to be on whoever is out to just make the decision, which is why I think you should probably be having these conversations when y'all are early dating type things.
Absolutely, because in the moment it's too late.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're going to have, if you're someone who's going to want to quote unquote live inside of that guilt, it's going to haunt you forever.
Yeah, but that's why the question, that's why I don't, everybody, I mean, they kind of answered the question and went on to their spiel, but the question is, who are you saving out of boom or boom, A or B? It's not nothing else. Yeah. Who are you taking, A or B? Yeah. That's why you don't have to ask the question to do all that stuff because, like you said, then it gets all this. Well, it's not convoluted if I have the choice. That's why they ask you, who are you saving out of the thing, A or B?
Right.
Me, personally, if I have a wife, I'm choosing my wife. There's nothing else to take.
Yeah.
That's just me.
So I get it. And that's why I get why people choose something else. It's like, okay, like,
in my mind. If it's, and again, this is not saying I don't love my children.
Yeah, we love them.
Or any of that nonsense. Of course, I love my children to the max degree. It's just my wife is at a different...
I would reckon to say, so, tell me if you're wrong. Mm-hmm. If you could give your life and save both of them, you would do the
fastest decision that I make without even question.
And that's why the people that answered that, I expect that because that's what social media is.
That's right.
The reality is that's not what the question asked. Who are you taking? That's why I was like,
no, of course, but I've considered all of that in my answer already.
Yeah. So that's why there's no right or wrong answer.
In a way, but so to say to me the opposite of that, I have to ask you, what did you consider to get to this conclusion? And if you start breaking down the consideration and throughout the whole process I wasn't considered, well then there's questions to be answered because you have to consider like all of that.
But I still can't even say their consideration is wrong. For instance, we had a conversation with who do you feed first, your kid or your
husband? This is kind of the same, yeah.
You gotta agree to whatever it is, agree to disagree. It's your personal opinion. This
whatever
is how
you choose goes. Yeah.
It has to get to that point.
I think there was one more. What is the other one?
It's Adrian. Shout out to Adrian. You might need to come over here, man.
We might put him on the couch.
Let you see the show or something.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, head ass.
But look what he called out. I thought this was great.
So he says, Brian and Jeremy sure haven't done that for weeks now. I think when Jeremy took that hiatus a few weeks ago, that's when they fell off from doing it. So he's talking about, when we start the show, what do you say?
Oh, yeah, I say when you get to the YouTube, make sure that you +1 on all the plats, but make sure when you get to YouTube,
we haven't done that in a while. So I like that because that means you really pay attention.
That's right.
That's good, man. So.
But on top of that, he's calling both of y'all out. He said,
he said y'all slacking, bro.
Then he said Jeremy on a high.
What people don't understand is this. It's a light-skinned privilege. Light-skinned privilege. No, it really is. This is why he gets to go out to sound like that. We have privilege.
That's real talk.
So we can not do this, and you can't call us out like that.
And also,
matter of fact, we're deducting your social credit for that, for us. Your Stucky credit.
Nah,
hey, man, we do this.
Oh, okay, my bad.
We do this in 4 segments. We started off with essentially the Mutha-Stucka of the week, which I'm assuming we got a couple to go through today. From there, we move on to you guys at StuckyPod.com. Again, StuckyPod.com. Please go to StuckyPod.com and submit your Stucky situations. Okay. We take those Stucky situations, put them up on the screen here, go through them with the rest of the world, and we figure out how to get you unstuck. And if it's bad enough, we go to the next segment, which is Stuck and Stupid. We put you on the wheel. And at the very end, Corey gets us into some shadow work and ties it up in a nice little bow since it's on our week, guys. That's the show. It's about an hour and a half. We hope you stick around. Who the Mutha-Stucka?
And who y'all got, bro? I
got here B Wood first. Who the Mutha-Stucka, bro?
I put her on the wheel. I don't know if she's stuck. So
well, then find another. See if you got another one.
Who was it, huh?
Monique.
Oh.
Region.
I feel you. That's
I'm iffy on that though. Yeah, I'm iffy on it because I'm like, damn, she can. Like, I get it for her side. I was like, that is the perfect moment to call it out. Mm-hmm. Like, you outside preaching X, Y, and Z when you did this to me, but it's like, damn, at a funeral, like, whoa,
that's tough.
But that's why I put on SNS.
But we might not get that on the wheel.
See,
So
I'll say Monique for me. I'll say Monique, and I'm really on putting her as Mutha-Stucka of the week, Sims. But I just think that the funeral part is the sticky part. Because I think you can catch him slipping because he's always giving the same speech at every event. Every time Tyler Perry wins something, he's going to give you some deep, or you're going to have to, you're going to have to hit one of those. So you could have caught him slipping somehow. You didn't have to do that one.
That's tough. Okay.
So
in other words, at a funeral,
I don't even.
What happened to get to?
So
Angie Stone's death, and he gave a speech at a funeral. In the speech,
about how the industry takes advantage of certain people, because a lot of that. So in the black community right now, they think that some people, like a minority or a majority or whatever, they believe that a lot of the cause of her death was because she was going through some issues with the industry.
UNG?
Yeah, there was some stuff happening. There was some stuff leading up to that she was announcing on her lives and stuff like that.
This is Angie Stone, the singer?
Yeah, Angie Stone, the singer. So they're thinking that all this tie in. But, people have the thoughts and stuff like that. So Tyler Perry, being in the black community, I'm sure he heard the information, but that's why he was speaking of it. It didn't just come out of nowhere. He was saying these things because that's what's rooting some of the things that were happening to Angie Stone. So just saying how the industry taking advantage of her and how they might not have paid her all that money that she was owed. I didn't know that she was actually one of the pioneers of hip hop.
Yes.
The group called The Sequence.
100%.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I have a book that's called Contact High, and it's a graphic novel of the history of hip hop. It's pretty cool. I have it at work.
And she's in there?
Yeah, there's stories
The
about.
Sequence, man, I didn't know how tough she was. Sugar Hill Gang, first
for sure,
female
bro.
Don't forget, she got some bangers too.
Yeah, 100%, man. Rest in peace.
So wait, but you're saying that Monique
was
saying that moment at the funeral to be like, that's funny you feel that way, Tyler.
Yes.
Because she had an issue with Tyler Perry before, and that was the thing of having being mistreated in the game and stuff.
That's a little uncouth. I mean, and I respect having your moment to say whatever you want to say and being free to feel how you feel. But sometimes it's like, man, all right, bro. This is the LeBron argument sometimes about LeBron coming up to Stephen A. It's like,
but that's the and part. He had a really good valid reason. Like, sometimes maybe I do need to step up to Stephen A.
Right, for sure. But I think the difference in the parallels there is that Tyler Perry didn't mention Monique in the thing, right? This is not like I wouldn't say hit dog holler, but what my point is, you saw something, you felt that you could attach it to yourself,
which is
and
crazy.
You used Angie Stone's moment,
there you go,
as your moment.
This is getting
not
engaged
just her
at the
moment.
wedding.
This is her final moment.
Yeah, no, this is getting engaged at the wedding.
Yeah,
coming to the wedding and getting engaged. It's like, what are you?
Right now, you're trying to make this about you.
We're not bashing nothing.
No.
This is just speaking truth. Like sometimes,
and it could be for me at least. Again, I don't think what she had to say or what she did as far as Monique is necessarily wrong. I'm just saying I think her approach. Was not
that's what well. That's why I'm in.
Her approach and timing wasn't well. Yeah. But people, you have your things that have happened to you. You have your story. And the thing is, with Tyler Perry, anybody else, anytime you want to be a boss or you are a boss and you're going to be a big boss, bro, they're going to be you. And this is not even a boss. Yeah. Let's just talk about it in real life, bro. You're going to be the villain in somebody's story.
Every single time.
So. And you will be. You're not always the hero. Somebody hates you. Yeah. And you had things that were well intended. And it didn't impact him the way that you think it did. And that's it. You have to accept that. Tyler Perry has to accept that. He'll probably never get it right with Monique.
And that's okay.
Monique, you have to accept that you don't like Tyler Perry, and it is what it is. He's not going to be able to make it right. He can put right now if he came to you and dropped whatever. Let's say your number was $200 million. He can drop $200 million in your bucket, and you're probably going to complain and say that he's just doing that. He has the money to do that. He didn't actually genuinely need it. That's okay. Y'all don't like each other. Y'all don't rock with each other. You felt like you got did over. Tyler Perry feels like he didn't.
Stop complaining about it. Move on.
That's my stuck in part. It's almost like a battle. It's like the rap battle. Like, bro, if you read what she said, like, bro, you did something to my family. You took money away from my family, bro.
Nah,
like,
that's what I said. It's
he's saying she's saying if it's up and it's stuck.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm in.
My thing is, what is if it's stuck, or if I'm saying that to you, and what is the for you, Monique, what will it take for you to either move on or be satisfied with where the relationship is?
And if it's retaliation and you're needing to see him and his family suffer,
how do you get unstuck? Like,
and
what
is
does
that
it
the
take to
answer?
get unstuck?
And again, maybe that is the answer.
And that's our show.
But
That's
like, take his biggest moment.
That's our show.
I don't know.
Let's try to, But that wasn't his moment.
Yeah, that wasn't his
was
moment.
Angie
That's
Stone.
Angie
That's what I'm
Stone.
saying.
So
That's
what
why
I'm
it's
saying.
uncouth.
Yeah.
If you were at a Tyler Perry
Yeah.
event, which would be strange, that you'd be invited to a Tyler Perry event to then speak on stage to have a moment to say that about Tyler Perry, that's one thing. To be at Angie Stone's final resting and to bring that up, I just find that a little uncouth. So I like that pick, even though it's a little.
And again, I don't want to prolong it, but again, I can see on her side.
I see her side too, and I have mad love and respect
love
for
Monique
for
because-
Yeah, and
Monique,
like I said,
bro.
I
She's
see
one
her
of the
side,
first.
Monique. Like,
Yo, 100%.
It's just as much Tyler Perry's fault. At the end of the day, he
100%.
didn't have to speak at the funeral. He did. So I don't care what straight he.
Yeah, he's
who
like,
catches.
and in
I
her
don't care.
defense, she's like this. Well, I mean, he decided to get up and
And
talk
he decided
like
to
that.
talk like that.
Well,
That's
sure.
his fault.
And for Tyler, let's say Tyler did right by 99 people out of 100, and Monique was the one he got it wrong or
If you
whatever.
get it
right?
wrong once bad, it can be wrong forever. Yeah.
That's the point. But
Yeah.
for
100%,
if I'm playing
100%,
Tyler's side
100%.
and Tyler's saying these things, what if Monique was the mess up for Tyler and Tyler got it right from there on out? He said, I'm not going to do the same mistake that I had with Monique going forward.
Is there
So now,
redemption?
Monique, you're not allowing him to be better?
Is there redemption?
Is there redemption?
And
Right.
here's
Yeah,
this,
yeah, yeah.
And again, this is why I want to be careful. As much as I support Monique, this is why I want to be careful because this type of rhetoric doesn't only exist in the entertainment
No,
world.
it's
This happens
in
the
every world.
political world.
It's
This happens
in
in
a
the
personal
religious
world.
world.
Now-
Yes, yeah, it happens everywhere.
Again, and I don't even know if she said this. This would have been my argument. Why are you talking about that at a funeral anyway? So is it about you, Tyler? Because do you use? You know, some
And
people
let-
get
let
highs
us-
off
so-
this.
so let us-
they get a
let
high
us-
off speaking like
No,
that.
so let us have that banter.
That's the argument.
Let
That's
us
the
have that
argument,
banter and
That's the
say he
argument.
was uncouth.
That's the
Because I'm
argument.
going to
That's
say
the
the same
argument.
thing right now. I don't think
That's the
Tyler
argument.
Perry should be having
Well,
that conversation.
I
That's
haven't
the argument.
watched the entire clip. I just read the note. I
Yeah.
haven't watched the
You know what
clip of
Tyler
his
Perry
speech.
would be better? Do that on a New York
You let the
Times
people,
interview.
like to your point. you
Yeah,
just let-
go to
yeah.
CNN, go to New York Times.
Yeah,
go
but
to
what if
Fox
they?
News.
But we don't know the terms and conditions of what they asked him to speak about, right?
Doesn't matter.
You got me on
No,
that
no,
one,
I'm
too.
saying
No,
like
that
if
does
they
matter. That
asked
does
him,
matter.
that does matter. If
I don't think
Tyler
they
had
did,
a-
but
I doubt
Well,
the
who knows?
family was like, please talk
Yeah, I
about
don't
her
think they-
money
I
problem.
think
No,
he got
I
a
don't
high
think-
off
but
just trying to
see-
make that speech.
Yeah.
I don't. Did you watch the full clip?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm speaking from, by the way, full on ignorance here. Haven't seen the clip. You guys are educating me.
I've seen
in
the clip.
Here's
my
the reason
opinion.
why I say that. The reason why I say that is I did see a clip of somebody else who was up there who was trying to speak and I think the pastor was like, no, even though he was on the bill.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Right. So my point is that I think there was enough organization there
Yeah.
that I'm sure whenever they reached out, Tyler Perry just didn't get up and speak, right? Like they asked him to speak and maybe they gave him even things to like, hey, maybe there's this member of the family we want to
Do
stay
you
away
think
from.
his
da-da.
prepared speech was given to the operation?
No, I doubt that
Nah,
it was
yeah,
like he like
I
wrote
think he
it
went on
down.
top of
No,
it, right?
So
Yeah.
they
but
don't-
that
they
doesn't
don't
mean
know
that
either.
people don't give notes, right?
Sure.
There was
you
a
can
call
give me-
sheet.
you
There
can
was a
give
call
me-
sheet and giving them detail
No,
of what the.
what they have is
Right.
as notes to what
Right.
what you can and can't talk about.
But what I'm saying, my
Yes.
point to that is I don't know what they gave him. So if we're questioning why would you talk about that, it's possible that they asked him to speak in some way around that, or it's possible that he didn't. I'm just saying I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to in that moment. If I'm Monique, I probably keep that inside me personally. But again,
But
like
again,
I say,
falls back on us. Let me do the
Yeah.
research to figure out if
It's
he
really
was giving those notes.
That's the thing.
If I find out he wasn't giving those notes and he just did this off the coof,
And then that's when you go in.
Yes.
That's when you
when
go
we
in.
can do what
Yeah.
we do, and then you can backdoor it and say, "See, I told y'all. Look at him. He's a bum."
Right.
And now you actually
you
have
ride on the coattails of
you have
everybody
to
else.
attack
I don't
certain ways. You
have
gotta
to be
be-
the person.
yeah.
There's enough people out here with podcast mics that somebody will find something.
Oh,
I
everybody
just
will
ride
find
that and be like,
everything.
listen,
Get out, baby.
you ain't even gotta
Get out.
say nothing. You could just take that and repost it, and then a shade room gonna say Monique reposted this one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People gonna run with that. So
You looking
let-
good, Monique.
yeah.
I see you looking.
I mean, speaking of, I was gonna say just hilarious, but I'm gonna go with the Breakfast Club in general.
Man, you know what's funny?
I can't. I love Charlotte. I can't
I'm
do
gonna be
it.
real.
I
I'm
can't do it.
probably gonna be with Brian on this one.
I
I
can't do it.
purposely did not want to use Loren or Jess or any of them because I like them too much.
Nah.
And I know what
Ain't
they're
nobody
doing.
over reproach
I want to hear your arguments.
about being stuck.
Now, why you think they're Mutha-Stuckers?
Again, it's because we didn't have to be a part of any of that.
I'm
Take it-
actually
now, granted, we live in a world where content is king,
100%.
right? And I'm not gonna dismiss that angle.
Don't run from the smoke.
I'm not gonna dismiss that angle. I also recognize that as much as the talking and stuff that was going on and people who were upset because it's real people. At the end of the day, Jess was upset. She cried on the
That
show.
crying is crazy.
DJ Envy was upset. He on the
he
show
walked
upset.
upset. Let me get a
So,
sparkling
that's
water.
what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's real, and he
was
was in there talking
hilarious.
about I messed with you the long way for real.
Yeah,
real.
yeah, he was
It
going
might
in.
be so. There's things happening in that space, and this is just for me. There's things happening in that space that are affecting real humans, and that doesn't just because it's content doesn't always mean that we all need it.
100%.
And you want, if to understand Corey's point, just watch Charlemagne.
100%.
Charlemagne was like I hate to be this way, but it was like he was like the kid with ADHD that is coming off of the meds.
Charlemagne making too much money for that right now. He's everywhere.
No, my point to you is that was one of those moments where you kind of wanted to disconnect from the
That's the new professionalism what he did. Like for a show format, like to be on radio like that, you have listeners. So you have to do the jokes and to know who they are, the type of people they are. He did the right amount of jokes, trying to calm it down.
I would argue that the vulnerability was so high in that space that if they would have just turned it to 100 on everybody,
it would have went crazy.
I think the same effect would have been there.
Yeah,
minus him playing any jokes, and I don't mean talking back and forth like where we're bashing each other and making each other cry. That's not what I mean. If everybody would have stayed vulnerable in that space, took on the like if to me, I feel like Envy got a little bit emotional.
He did.
All Jess was saying is like, bro, y'all have to work on the environment in here.
I think what Envy did, honestly, is if you see what he did, the way he bigged her up at the right time.
Yes.
Bro, he put on a masterclass. He checked her at the same time.
Yes.
He bigged her up.
That's right.
Got up at the right time.
I'm not
Charlemagne,
saying
they did what they were supposed to do.
I guess what I'm saying is like he handled it inside of his emotional state the best way you can inside that state.
There's nothing else you can do.
Right.
Inside that state.
She went live and showed the world.
And
there's nothing else you can do.
For me, I'm like more, I wouldn't say on Envy's side. I'm not on anybody's side. My frame point is what he's saying. We know each other so much. We not like all these other people. We hear every single day. We have real relationships with each other. We know each other's family, everything else. Yep. All these conversations we could have had ourselves. And even if you wanted to go live, this is why I say Jess, is when you went on live, you started airing out stuff that like you can't take back. So
not only that, you technically were making judgment calls about things that were not proven.
That's what I'm saying.
And now you have to eat crow on live.
A lot of the stuff she was saying was accurate, though.
I'm not saying this wasn't.
Yeah, but, I mean, she may be 5%, 10% wrong.
But check this out. How many people sitting in jail right now off of accuracy?
Yeah.
It don't matter. What can you prove?
Yeah.
What can you prove? Now, you can be as accurate as you want to. And we see it as listeners and viewers. I see the tension. I saw Angela Yee tension for years. We see it, okay?
And I got to still work with you. Like, imagine you and I work together. Crazy. I build a real relationship with you, and we have this show. And instead of you telling me, hey, I feel like the show is ran like a high school, you go online to millions of people.
Tough.
And you saying that. And you got to come back to work.
I respect it.
What you mean?
I respect it.
For me, I think that it gets to a point where, how do you say that? I think that is good. I'm with this Stuck, yes. First of all, we got to humanize these people. There's got to be ways to humanize these people.
That's all I'm saying.
To see that on a scale for me, it's like, dang, like, when you see, you're like, man, they got the same, bro. They going through the same issues, little petty stuff. They're worried about us trolling. I'm like, whoa, well, this is big. Like, but at the same time, I think that, first of all, Envy and Charlemagne, you're just geniuses how you did it. First of all, you got the views. I looked at their stats, just crazy. Incredible, trending, like he said, number 9, incredible stats. Mm-hmm. But to me, it was safe. She told the truth. This ain't, at the end of the day, from what I've seen, you brought Jess in for one thing. And that was to bring the comedy and to have her show.
Lying a bitch.
Y'all brought this girl in when she was on maternity leave, and she said it was really no communication. You brought this girl in. There's no other way we could talk about it. So how I'm gonna do it? Now I'm not talking about the live. I think Jess is the Mutha-Stucka 100%. I forget what I said. Jess is the Mutha-Stucker. I'm just not opposed to doing it on screen. Yeah. Why? Because I watch Joe Budden. They do it all the time.
That's the point I'm making to you, though.
Like, this is the new POC. This is the new TV.
This is the new thing. I get it, but that's the point that I'm making to you.
This is the movement,
We're talking about humanity, and then we have to take a piece off just to keep it non-human. No, if we're this vulnerable, the lid's already off. The lid's already off. She went on live and took the lid off.
Did you see the reaction from the when they had the callers?
Oh, of course.
Hold on.
Oh, what happened?
Okay, bet.
Oh, okay.
Did you see the callers? That's what I mean by, like,
part.
bro, when they called in and talking about Jess and that. Did you hear everybody?
Of course.
Everybody was on Jess' side, but maybe one person.
No, but if you go online, they're not.
No, 100%. No, I'm with you 100%.
But here, I guess what I'm saying is Jess is not lying. She had she aired her grievances, and if you consider what she was saying before about how she tried to come to people, if she wouldn't have been very specific about how she came at people in that live, then Charlamagne, Envy, or Loren wouldn't have much to say. But there was very specific moments where she was like saying, I said these specific things in these moments, and instead of addressing the big problems, even Envy was like, you shouldn't have said it this way because I'd rather you have done it this way. And
we talked about it, but you never mentioned it.
It's like, we get
bro,
it. I get it. Okay, I talked to you about it though. Yeah, okay, maybe I missed out a small detail that I probably should have said in the moment about how my experience is, but I said exactly what I was feeling, bro, in the moment.
What did she say? And the reason why I say capitalize off it, what did she say in the thing that I was like, man, this is genius. Put it on screen. They already were saying it anyway. They were painting the narrative.
Talk to me.
So why wouldn't I then capitalize off the narrative?
No,
if that's since the social media drives it, why not capitalize on it?
When you talk about you talk to a social media guy from the social media side.
Yeah, she put on a master class.
It was amazing.
Now she shouldn't have did it, but they after the after effect.
Yeah.
Like Loren said, they didn't know it happened.
And then the best part is
since it happened, they put on a master class.
And are they staying together?
Huh?
They're staying together?
Yes. I mean, for now. If there's
I think they're getting rid of Jess. I think they're getting rid of Jess.
And that's why I'm saying
they're getting rid of
the Mutha-Stucka. That's all I'm trying to say. If you get, and we're talking about Jess also has a brand, bro. This is not her. She has a big brand.
It hurts it to me.
So now I have, because I'm inside of the things that are going on, you have no more control over the narrative in which I get to create of what happens from here going out.
Yeah, we both
if we never knew anything that happened and she left, she could have painted a picture. I'm doing more shows. I got pregnant. I have a kid. I want to focus more on my mom. And we'd have never known that the stuff that was going on. Whatever.
You mean how Angela Yee effed?
Exactly. We'd have never known whether Angela Yee's being successful later or whatever else. It's all nobody knows. Now the narrative will always be if they stay together, cool. Maybe we forget about it. If there's any recent time where Jess leaves, Jess got herself fired.
I think the reason why Jess cried is because she knew it was her fault. Once Envy.
Now you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily that was her fault per se. I think she realized she spoke too much. And she said too many things.
It's her fault.
Yeah, you
went live.
Too many things if you would have went live.
He said it was corny. That's what he said.
That's what I'm saying. If you would have went live and hit on every note where there's no, you know what? Since you want to go this vulnerable, receipt me to death. Receipt me to death. You come out with these receipts of everything you're saying. Now we don't have to keep addressing this way in which I brought it to the media, because I have had conversations with you all through text, through call. Here goes all the receipts. Here goes the time. Loren, you said you were in a meeting with me and EP, and you said, I don't ever recall hearing you say that. This is why I had another person in the room. This is what I mean, Jess. Don't say
she had somebody.
That's what I'm saying.
She had a receipt.
Now you don't have leverage in this part of the conversation. That's why she cried. It was because she's realizing
the leverage is gone.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said exactly that.
I watch Breakfast Club faithfully,
Me
bro.
too.
I ain't gonna
We
lie,
all do,
bro.
I think.
Hey.
I love both of them.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I love them.
I think they're both great talents and do
exactly
different
what they
things.
do.
Yeah. Yes, that's it.
But I truly believe this is just me.
Loren better for the product.
100%. But I'm no, for real. But I'm with Jess though, because I've seen Loren is really, bro. She is a stud. This is the problem.
TMZ.
It's like, and she's cheaper. She's cheaper than you, Jess.
She came from TMZ,
but she's cheaper.
She got a real journalist background, right?
And she actually is worth it. But and like the whole thing is because Jess can't read. But I will say this though, one thing I and Jess said this, but she didn't like package it well. She did say you talk a lot. What I think she means by that is Loren is rude. Like one thing I don't think Loren picks up on is sometimes that these are guests.
That's right.
No matter if it's a guy that you don't like or anything, you're not Charlamagne.
Yeah.
That's what. If everybody has a position, then let Charlamagne be Charlamagne, DJ Envy be DJ Envy, Loren be Loren, and which this might be the Loren. I don't know because she's the best. But
is she from New York?
No, Baltimore. I think Baltimore.
No, that's Jess.
Jess is from Baltimore.
Jess is from Baltimore.
I don't know where Loren's from.
I feel like she's from the
or
East
South
Coast.
Carolina. She's from somewhere. I don't remember.
No, I
but
think she's
Loren,
from the East
this is not hating on Loren at all. I knew what Jess meant by she said talked a lot. I'm like, because Loren, the Gary Owens thing.
Yep.
Sometimes, and you could even with Drewski, go watch the Drewski interview. There was points where Drewski was looking at her like, what? Like, why is she on me so hard? Like,
well, she was vouching for space.
And she's also, I think her background is journalism, bro. So like,
that's what I'm saying. She's not a friend.
Right,
she's not a friend.
It's not
even
that. You got to think about how Charlamagne is not. People would say Charlamagne's a journalist.
He's not.
He's not.
And he'll tell you that.
And so his framing.
He's learned it over time, though.
Yeah, right. He's learned how to
ask questions over time. They're not a journalist.
But he's
But
not a
it's
journalist.
not the way that Loren will ask them because she's trained a certain way as journalists are
That's
trained.
correct.
But we're only saying this because I believe that, again,
And Envy just
I
there.
can back this up. There's just certain times where she's
doing too much.
It's a convenience of how she treats you. Like I hate saying it, but I can only. Some would say that if you're a black female, she's a little bit nicer, or if you're a white female, she's a little bit nicer. But if it's dudes, she might act a little. That's just from what I've seen. I've seen it in the comments.
That is her vibe.
But I love Loren. Well, Loren,
but
please
this
know I
is
love you.
because this is her. Corey's saying this is her training.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come off that way in a lot of spaces, and that's because that's how.
I don't care what she do. I love Loren.
I think they both can do what they do. I think they both deserve.
100%.
Here's what. Again, I hope Breakfast Club's listening to not our only feedback, but everybody's feedback, including obviously your co-host. In that there should be 2 segments.
Yes.
I don't get it. Just with the Mess should be 1 segment, and it has just enough legs to hang on its own, enough news to hang on its own. There's enough craziness out there. And I think Lauren LaRosa, whatever your segment calls,
it's
should
called God, I forgot something.
Lauren, lately, Lauren, the latest, Lauren with the latest.
Lauren with the latest.
Yeah.
That should be these. Man,
I
what
love
are we
Lauren, bro. I think she cool.
And Jess should be like
what she does.
messy stuff, and Lauren should be actual new stuff.
That's it.
100%.
That's it. And nobody gets
nobody
hurt.
gets-
Everybody gets to win. Nobody overtalks each other. All right,
And that's what they do, 100%, man.
My Mutha-Stucka.
They can make it work though.
Yeah, of course. I
My
think they can, but then
Mutha-Stucka.
it's. I'm telling you, stuff like that.
It's a
sours,
schism,
bro.
It's a schism.
It's sours, bro.
That's why Joe Budden's
It's
a
a
god.
schism.
He does it with 7 people all the time.
Yeah, but
He's a god.
I mean, Adam 22 does it.
Facts.
Yeah, Adam does it. A lot of people do
Facts.
it.
But
Yeah,
also,
get
I
it
think
done.
most people with Joe, but you saw this with Rory and Ma, like most people with Joe default to Joe, meaning they recognize that this is Joe's platform. So there are times when I watch Joe and I'm like, I can see this person actually want to check
Joe is the black Skip Bayless.
but he don't. Facts, but they don't because they recognize what you're saying with it, like Lauren, like
He
this is
Uncle
Joe's
Joe.
thing.
That's what they need to do with Charlamagne. Somebody I think Axe said this. The only reason why Breakfast Club even goes is because Charlamagne. It's not because DJ Envy. So at some point, knowing your role is saying that Charlamagne is LeBron, and then I'm Lauren right now. Well, Envy would be Luca, but Lauren, you come in and be
Dalton Connect.
Austin Reeves.
No, she gonna be there. No, she's Dalton Connect. and
Yeah, she
Jess
definitely
is
connect.
AR-15.
And
Yeah,
Jess is AR-15.
but you have to play that. Anyway, it's gonna work.
All right,
Charlamagne
so
there. Charlamagne's the
here's
GOAT.
my Mutha-Stucka of the week.
go.
Speaking of Adam 22, Big
The
U.
Rico?
Oh, Big U.
I ain't speaking
I'm
on
laying
him.
off. Yeah.
Hey,
Speaking on them,
Hey, shout out to the Rollins and all the
before
good
we get
guys.
started.
But I will say,
Before we get started, everything is allegedly. Nothing is.
Yeah, I'm not even touching
A RICO is a RICO, but it's
It's
all
federal,
alleged.
though,
Actually,
right?
no.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know nobody.
it's a federal
It's
Rico.
federal RICO.
Them boys getting packed up.
That's what I'm saying. But why am I'm not gonna call Big U the Mutha-Stucka of the week.
There you go.
I'm gonna say you're the alleged Mutha-Stucka of the week, and I'll tell you why. If the report is true, wait a minute. I just need to make sure I understand this. It's 2025, right? How many gangster mob movies have we seen since, I don't know, 1970, would you say? You're the movie
Too
guy.
many, bro.
I don't
Way
know.
too many.
Now, we remove the entertainment piece and we then flip it onto how many news lines have we seen in the news over that same amount of time about those types of people who are mobsters and their involvement in their gangs and then turn out to be imprisoned or dead or whatever else because they got raided on or whatever. They're countless, right? This is the thing about like when you get into the music industry and you find out that 3 years later that one artist is doing interviews and they go, man, y'all make sure that you sign your papers, man, and know you understand your like,
Yeah.
bro, how many more contracts do people have to sign that are
No,
terrible?
they're definitely stupid.
Yeah, before you start reading your contracts, and I'm it's hard for me to be empathetic to these people when there's 70,000 examples of what not to do, and you look at them and go, it's gonna be different with me. I have a real problem with that. So if this person is alleged to have done these things and it comes out to be true, all the work that you put in throughout whatever lifetime of service you've served to whatever organization this is that they're saying is the problem. I'm not going to call them what they are because I don't know what this is yet. This is just what I'm reading. To end up being that you essentially unalive your own artist
Die behind it.
because he was willing to say like, oh, actually, I know a few things about what you did, and then dumped him in a ditch and thought no one in 2024, whatever year it was going to find a dead body in a ditch in Las Vegas and be able to then track down all the information about that dead body in the ditch in Las Vegas. As again, it's not 2020.
You know what just came out?
Huh.
Yeah, y'all saw the Yellow Beezy highlight.
Yellow Beezy dropped.
Headline.
Yeah, he got allegedly
capital murder. They're charging him with capital murder for hire, basically.
Tied into the Mo3.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, but again,
if you're from around here, I feel like that's been the buzz since forever.
And so has the Big U buzz. In
LA.
LA.
For sure.
Okay,
for sure.
So I guess we'll throw him into this too. How about this?
Just gangsters.
Stop using gangsters. Yeah.
Just gangsters.
I'm sick of it. I'm over it. I'm
over
it.
Even the thing, and I hate it. Shout out to everybody. Just even the thing that there's some gangsters that do good. I'm done with that.
Stop it, bro. I'm sick of it.
Just get out of it, bro.
Or the free so and so till it's backward. Man, listen, no. What if I said no? Maybe this is
go watch TV. We're done.
Again, this is not just in the gangland. I believe the world is in a shift right now, and it just has nothing. It has to do with everything. You know, we're like, we want things to change, and then something changes, and it's like, wait a minute, we don't want it to change.
Enough.
Yeah, we're like, we want the gangs to stop killing. We want them to stop doing all this illegal stuff, and and then the government's like, okay, let's stop it. Oh, come on, free whoever. Bro, if these things are true, this cannot be a free person. Like, what are we talking about?
And they got to get, and they, that's what they do. The
and again,
they good at getting
shame on the government and whomever else are bringing these charges if they can't put those people behind bars, because that proves it.
That's why I asked if it's a Fed, because the Feds have a 99% conviction rate. They don't, basically the Feds let you hang yourself. And they will let crimes continue to happen so that they have enough
so they have more and more
the Feds got them?
99. It's a Fed RICO, bro.
Bye-bye.
It ain't a California RICO. It's a Fed
even
RICO.
add more to his, I don't even want to talk about Mutha-Stucka is because he put out that video. Did you see the video he dropped?
Afterwards?
Yeah. And they said in the thing.
Like,
bro.
Come on, man.
They said in the thing.
It said 40%. I'm going to say this out. It said 40% of the data we got was from y'all snitching on yourself through podcasts. That's another reason why this Mutha-Stucka is because I'm trying to unpack that part.
Adam 22
Stop going on these podcasts talking about your bodies. Who are these people, bro? These are the people we call leaders of the community.
Y'all like Adam? I don't even like Adam, bro.
Adam and Vlad,
I don't even
they
watch.
know who they are. Now, here's one thing about them. We got to get off of them. I don't like getting on to people who are who they are.
Yeah, that's why I'm like academic.
Why are you mad about Ak? Why are you mad about Vlad? Why are you mad about any of these people? This is literally what they do. If you go to these platforms and support these platforms for any way of any kind, as you see, and I've seen Vlad and I've seen Adam come out, and I respect those guys enough to say whatever they feel is how they feel. Meaning, if they didn't,
I respect them. I just don't like their content.
If I don't go out of my way to say, come onto my platform to incriminate yourself, I apparently am not implicit. That's nonsense. I don't believe in that. I believe you know exactly what you're doing. You may not say that you're doing it on purpose, or you have some kind of written contract where you're like,
bro, the Vlad questions are pointed questions.
Yeah. No, but the point.
So when he get into his like, oh no, they just be. I'm like, bro, you be asking.
Stop it! I watch all the interviews.
Like,
you know what you're doing.
Facts, like.
But my thing, it is kind of them too, because you could edit. Like, there is a power of editing and putting out the content. So to know that the information that you already captured, it don't matter what they said, you are putting that out.
That's correct.
So yes, it's Adam's fault. It's your fault.
Yeah, all that stuff is nonsense to me. When you
I wouldn't say like. I wouldn't say it's his fault either. Like, they're doing exactly what anybody else would do.
All I'm saying to you is that as long as we can accept those things, I am not looking. This is the same argument of you walk in on your wife cheating, you start screaming at your wife, or you start screaming at the dude,
the person,
the dude.
Yeah,
why would I scream at the dude? Who cares?
Again, that's why back end paperwork, I would still then send to the person that I interview, hey, this could potentially get you caught up. Do you want us to take this out? Yes or no?
I'm sure. I wouldn't even say take you out. I'm sure they probably do a disclaimer when people come.
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably do
disclaimer.
I am almost positive that NDA or disclaimer that they're signing, if it's for people like Vlad or all those other folks who care a lot about their brand being open like that.
Disclaimer on the show?
No, I bet it's not protecting the guest.
No, it's protecting
themselves.
That's what I'm
saying.
100%.
I'm going to drop this if you like it or not. But
you
know
can't
that
sue me for the information you said on the thing.
That's right.
I guarantee you that's their contract.
You can't come to you couldn't come to this podcast and talk like that.
Right.
We wouldn't allow it because we already know what it is.
Yeah, 100%. Or you can, before you're going to sign a contract, and whatever comes out of this, whenever you get wrapped up and somebody else tries to sue us for what you said, you have recognized that this is your content.
Yeah, I'm not even posting it. What's the point? I already know what it is. We already see it. They said 40% of this whole thing came from the internet.
And they're going to get them too.
And then you get on the internet afterwards and start incriminating
I just wouldn't I think for me at least, it's like, content is king, but it's not enough to get my family and everything else wrapped up in none of your BS, bro. Because somebody gonna be mad at me because you came over my platform and started. Nah, bro.
Listen, we'd be just as popular as everybody tomorrow if we
started doing that, bro.
The guests that everybody got, started doing all that stuff. It's not hard to do that. Yes, and I'm saying this as somebody who does it too. So don't be like, well, you guys don't do the views. We show up. We do the content. We put it out. So we actually know because we're talking about it from a place of people who actually put out the content. So you can't even say that to us. However big your podcast is, we know what it is. If we wanted to turn the valve on right now and say, you know what, let's incriminate our people, make us look bad, let's start turning negative narratives. You see all of them. They're all popular right now. I'm not going to keep naming them because I don't want them to think I'm bashing them. I'm saying you know what you're doing as a podcast, just like we know what we're doing as a podcast. We make that choice every single week to say, no, we're not going to do that.
Yes. And there's content that we put up and are like, do we talk about it or do we not?
On purpose.
Yeah.
Because we know what's up.
It's just,
yeah.
Are we doing
So who the Mutha-Stucka, man?
Mutha-Stucka got to be Jess.
I got Jess.
I got Jess,
I guess we're sticking with Jess, man.
Jess
Are we doing the Stucky story?
No, we're not going to do a Stucky situation. What we can do, though, we can go to the wheel, bro, because we spent a lot of time here. Hold on, pull it up real quick.
That was a good one, though.
Yeah, I don't mind. I feel like when we're in good, healthy conversation, I don't really care.
Yeah, it's just the flow.
It just, exactly, the flow. When it's going, it's going. But anyway, let them know what
we're going straight to the wheel. And then Stuck and Stupid is a segment where a person plays a thing, finds yourself in a stuck and stupid situation. And then we put their ass on that wheel.
That right?
Corey, spin that wheel. My computer a little behind. There we go. I got that old MacBook. So
about the Air?
Nah, this is a MacBook Pro. Don't do me like that. But it's like 2014. Yeah, 11 years old. Look. It ain't made no noise or nothing. That was crazy. Did you see how slow that was?
Yes,
that's crazy on 32. Is it stuck and stupid to make a big deal about your significant other having their ex's name tatted on them?
I don't think that's stupid at all.
To make a big deal out of it?
No, I don't think that's stupid at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either. We're going to have to get that covered up. You know
and guess what? If it comes down to where you're like, well, you got to pay for it. No problem.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's that serious to me.
Yeah.
Because what are we doing?
Yeah,
what are we doing?
I'm not finna let that slide.
What are we doing?
I'm not trying to look at it.
You'll make her remove it or you'll just cover it up?
What does that even mean?
Or whatever you want.
I'm saying like some people can remove it or you'll just cover it up with a rose.
Choice,
yeah, what you want to do?
You
want to cover up? Cool.
You want to
rose? I'm just saying because even if, say if it's like a tramp stamp on the back and you knocking it from the back and you know the rose is really
Justin on that mud?
it's no, but you know the rose is really Justin.
Hey, listen.
Oh, I feel you still there.
Hey, now watch this. Y'all seen that show where they do the blind tattoo and then they gotta show their friend at the end?
Yeah.
I would do one with just an X.
but I'm just saying, but you know the rose is really Justin.
What the thing is, not anymore. To that account, it doesn't matter if you got it removed. You know it's still there.
Yeah,
so, you know what I'm saying?
Full circle moment. Yeah.
Almost a full circle moment. Brian said, because that rose used to be Justin, and I'm gonna say, nah, because a rose is still a rose. I ain't looking at it like Justin. Hey,
spin that wheel.
Hey, who sung that song?
Oh, another full circle moment. Did you see Kevin O'Leary touch Angela Rye and get away with it?
No.
No, I'm talking about my full circle, the consent.
No.
He ain't get sued. Yeah.
And what did she say?
Well, what did Rye say?
No, she would have got her.
She probably went crazy.
Turned around and said, "You don't got to touch me."
He said, "I would never touch you again." Yeah, I'm just saying, like he got away with it though.
He got away with it. She stopped it right then. It was an awkward moment.
I was saying, if my boy went on the date and he did it, he could at least slide in once. And if she don't say nothing, then
that's a risk I'm not willing to take.
No facts.
That's all I'm
saying.
Especially not with that one, because that one already.
Yeah, facts.
All right, hey,
Angela Rye bad though. Is it stuck and stupid to introduce your side piece to your friends?
Yes.
There's a lot of assumptions here. Hold on.
Yeah, bro.
So I'm gonna tell you why that's stupid. Not coming from a place of like somebody actively in that situation, because I'm not.
I was just trying to catch y'all with this one.
No. Meaning like why? No, why would you?
Stupid.
If it's a side piece, I'm just trying to think of put together. Like if it's a side piece, why would I want to bring light to that?
No, because I'm telling you what's happening. So this is coming from somebody who I ain't doing this, but what I have done is remember last episode, a couple episodes ago, I talked about the basketball team.
Okay.
This is the equivalent of trying to you're getting a little too caught up.
That's right.
You're trying to change this person's position.
Don't move. You still a three guard.
Thank you. Or you really started to fall in love with the center. And trying to move that center to a small forward.
Move it. Don't.
That's not who they are. That's not who they are.
Remember, all they got is the ground and pound.
Yes. Your star player is your star player, which is your main. And your main should be that. Me personally, in general, like, there's a part of me that, like, I like to live my life in private and people don't understand why. And it's because, not because I have anything to hide. I don't really care that much. There's a lot of the things that I share and a lot of things I don't share.
Right.
The things I don't want to share is because I don't want you to have any power to be able to even mess it up or create any narrative.
Misperceive,
whatever. That's what it is. I don't want you to know. Or even accidentally say something. You can't mess it up. You can't accidentally say something if you don't know.
Like
no leverage over there, buddy.
That Shaq had the 5 girls.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Why would you say that?
Yeah, that's
like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, Jess, you're out of there.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, what do you calm down,
Hey,
bro?
did y'all know February 15th is side piece Valentine's Day?
Yes.
Okay, I was just
Yeah, that's like the.
I didn't know that until this year.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense.
I thought
right?
it
The
was
day
the
afterwards.
13th of my day.
The before that?
Oh, before
That's
it's crazy.
tough. Yeah, how you do that?
Because then you're really no, see,
Yeah.
which is wild, and I'm glad if it
You can't
was
budget
switched to
if
the
it's
15th,
before. Yeah.
because the 13th is crazy. Because the 13th means I'm actually still kind of putting you before
Yeah,
my
real
main,
talk. Yeah, you can't do
and
that.
it keeps the side or
Makes her
whatever.
the main.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just because y'all thinking.
Hey,
y'all
I
thinking. So because
I got a song.
here's
I
why.
got a song about this.
Here's why. In my time, y'all thinking that girl that you're taking out on the 13th is going to the same restaurant that you're.
No, it's not about that. It's about the mindset.
It's the mindset.
I'm telling you right now,
Okay.
bro.
It's gonna
Hey,
feel
go
more
listen
special.
to Low by Nadra. It's about this.
Oh.
My bad. Wait, who's saying a rose is still a rose?
A chair is still a chair.
Oh.
No.
Face that.
No, rose.
Oh,
That's
no.
Aretha. It's still a rose. That's Aretha Franklin.
It vibrate down.
It is. Is it stuck and stupid for the government to consider banning the purchase of junk food with food stamps?
No, I don't. I kind of like this.
Stuck. No, I'm with
I
it.
kind of like this. I don't
I'm sick
understand.
of y'all
it.
buying crab legs with food stamps and taking them out
it's
of
not that. No,
That's
that's
not
not
junk
junk
food.
food.
I know. I'm just
They're being
saying.
very
that's my dumb
specific.
BS.
It was very specific
Yeah.
sodas.
Chips.
Yeah,
and
it'd be
certain
sodas, chips. Yeah.
I don't understand the fallback here. Am I missing something? Is there something I'm missing? There's
yeah,
a huge
there's
fallback for this, and maybe I'm missing.
No,
something.
but okay.
between
Here's the
waking food
fallback. Here's the fallback.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things.
Is
right?
it that I'm being told to do something thing? Because I
Yeah.
think that's insane.
Is it? Talk to an anti-vaxxer.
Food is food. Yeah, food is food.
If I am relying, hold on a second. I just want to make sure I'm understanding this. Food stamps are a program. Am I
Yeah.
tripping?
Yeah.
Okay. That is funded by a group that is funded by people that were voted in by a group of people in the United States. Am I understanding that correctly?
No, it's funded by the tax dollars that
Which
are.
are people in the United States?
No, I wouldn't say it's people. The program is ran by people. The program is funded
By the government.
but the government is funded by the people. So
Yeah. The people of the United States.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'm just making sure I'm understanding the lineup here. So I have a program that is funded by people that I voted in to make decisions that are going to be helpful to me and people around me so that we can be healthy together, be on the same path together.
That's where I think you go wrong.
Talk to me more about that. So that's what I'm saying.
I don't think people.
When there are assistance programs, because I feel like if you're on how do I put it? If you're not on an assistance program, you're assisting yourself and your own. In other words, like if you're not able to be a part of these
Right.
programs because maybe you're outpriced in it, you can protect yourself, you can afford other things. You're essentially on your own to make these decisions already by doing that.
Right.
Okay. Now, the systems are never supposed to be in place for you to rely on them forever. Typically, those systems are there for a temporary placement,
Yeah.
so that you can then
Continue to work off of that and-
work whatever it takes for you to get to that next level, and then come off of that program.
Right.
So, with all this in my brain,
Mhm.
I want to subsidize that program enough to not make it attractive to be on forever.
Yes.
And a lot of those things that are inside of that program, the foods, the chips, the drinks, those items are literally forcing us to like them more so that we can become addicted to them, and causing this conundrum of cycle of, hey, we actually enjoy this program because it's allowing us to have the subsidy of health that we're not truly getting. These are not real healthy items. So why wouldn't I want to remove them so that I can go back to the program being what it's supposed to be, which is to subsidize somebody for a while to get them to the next thing?
Well, and all of that I agree with. I'm trying
Okay.
to get you to see where people would have pushback.
Yeah, because I'm asking where the pushback's
Right.
coming from.
Because
so, yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
Me
go ahead.
personally, I love the idea of this. If you're going for assistance and I have an opportunity to help our country be more healthy in general, why not?
Yeah.
Right?
No,
like
yeah.
you don't have to be on the assistance, right?
No,
like
you can just keep
exactly
working.
100%. But if you're getting the assistance, It wouldn't be any different than like affordable housing or any other type of programs. So I agree to that point.
That's correct.
Where I can see where people will be mad on a general level, you're taking away my choices when I've already been given the choices, right? That's number one. So it's no different than literally anybody else who doesn't want the government telling them what they can and can't do. Sure. So that's number one. Number two, let's look at maybe even some of these companies. Let's say I'm Pringles. Mm-hmm. I'm just using Pringles as an example here. I'm not saying your product is trash or whatever. I'm just saying, let's say I'm Pringles. I'm one of those junk foods. I don't believe myself to be in a category of addictive or whatever else, but maybe I recognize that my clientele seems to be lower SEO people. And maybe a lot of people on this program tend to buy Pringles.
And guess what? Now I have to lose my government connection, which is a huge contract because it's not considered junk food.
For sure. Yeah. But if this is free market.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say to that, go make a healthier food, and I'll get you off my junk food list.
Right, but I'm okay. Yeah. Right. I'm not saying that that's not the pivot. Sure. I'm saying that's what I would be upset about, right? If I'm a company, now I'm losing, just like anything else, right? Yep. Like, what you're taking that away? What? That's been one of my biggest.
And I would say to that, yes, you're right, and I'm sorry, but go ahead and make a healthier product and come back. And guess what? You'll be right back on the list. But now, and to that, I might also say, or now you're trying to tell me what I have to make as a company? Yes, because you live in the United States of America, and that's what we do as a government. We say you're in a free market.
Yeah, they got regulations.
Yeah, but we regulate that market that you're in. It might be free, but it's free for you to operate in, but we regulate it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But potato chips?
Absolutely. If you're killing people.
Or whatever the example is.
But here's what I'm saying. If we're starting there, because my sub argument to that would be, if you truly feel like my food or my product is unhealthy, you would stop me from doing it or make me slap a label on it. But you still give people the freedom or choice to choose what they want to choose.
Yeah, now I got to go fix the food administration and so on and all that, right? But what I'm saying to you is that's my problem as a government. And guess what?
But
now you become.
But why would you say if you're? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If I'm a business, my rebuttal is, well, don't just do it for everything. Don't just
100%.
say.
100%. No, and guess what? Just to show I'm just trying to show you the dexterity of the not care that they're going to have in this moment. You're right, actually. As the government, I'm assuming to you that as you pushing back on me with that, you're right. Now I'm gonna go do that, but
they're not. They're not
right, and it could take me 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. When I'm saying this is my country, right? I'm in charge by the people that have said that I'm in charge.
Right.
Okay. So I love how you feel, and I just don't care. So can you please go either make me a healthier product to get on this list, or because today it is considered junk food, you will not be on this list. It's very, very simple.
Now the other back to that is, and this is where it's kind of funny when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
You have for the people who are suggesting to do this.
Yeah.
Right now, it's the Republican Party. They're cleaning house on the systems that they're trying to regulate. They're cleaning house because the people have a distrust in those organizations anyway.
But they distrust the FDA. And this is what I'm saying. If one falls, so does the many. I've always said this. You're talking to me like I'm not going over here and doing that. Not you. I'm saying you're representing a business that's giving me pushback. I've shown you week over week since this organization has taken over, or this administration has taken over the organization of America, because that's what this is. Let's be honest. So if you've seen me week over week start to dismantle those people that were regulating you, telling you that was okay, I'm working on that. Now, it could take me a while because I got a lot more to go through than just my judicial system with you, right? I have to go through the Congress. I've got to go through Senate. I've got to go through a lot of things. You have to go through me and FAA, which I run.
FDA.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You know what I'm trying to say.
Because FAA was a whole different thing. That's why I said that.
Freudian slip. Thank you for correcting me. The FDA. I have to go through, you have to go through that and me only. I have to go through that. You, these people, your lawyers, it's going to take a little bit longer for me. But at the end of the day, I'm the one with the leverage. Point blank, period. If you don't like doing business like this, it's cool. Go pay them tariffs over there that I've just imposed. Go over there, take your business. And a lot of people do it. They go to different countries.
They just ship it out. But I'm just saying that's where I believe some of the pushback is.
Yeah.
If I'm a company, I've been selling stamps.
Sure.
And stamps is fine. And there's only really a select group of people who feel as if these foods are generally unhealthy or whatever they may be. Because it may not be all the junk foods, right? It could be a food that we call junk food that's not actually like
there you go.
unhealthy or whatever.
That's what I said. get me to unlist the name junk food.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
No, but I'm saying, but
today,
what are the
as it's stated today, this is considered a junk food. If you do your due diligence to go to that,
but who is? This is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Who would be deciding this is what we determine as being junk food? Because there are some people who you the government.
Yes.
No, you
Right, but
yeah,
here we go.
FDA,
Here's my point.
yeah.
My point is your base doesn't even like what you're dismantling things because your base doesn't even trust the Food and Drug Administration. So the Food and Drug Administration would be the one who would be defining what the junk food is. Mm-hmm. So you would almost automatically cause dissension within their group because where am I supposed to go?
I said I'm the junk food creator. We've already given the junk food.
But it can't just be the government. It would have to be a group, right? It would have to be some sort of.
It is now, but it's being dismantled. You understand what I'm saying to you? So who is now the creator of the word junk food? If that party's no longer around and they defined it, and there's no longer a party that can define it because it doesn't exist,
right?
Who's become the new creator of the word junk food? Me. And I'm telling you,
but it doesn't. You wouldn't be able to sign an executive order to say this is junk food. What would have to happen is it would have to go into some sort of. It would
go through the judicial process.
Exactly, but hear me out.
Yeah.
When it goes through the judicial process, somebody has to hold it.
Those bodies.
For instance, no. Some organization has to hold it. An example would be the executive order today just came through that he would like to start the dismantling of the Department of Education. Yeah. Right now, the Department of Education holds student loans.
That's right.
The Department of Education is trying to get off the student loans. No other department in the government is taking. Yeah. My point is that everything that goes through the law, an organization, has to hold.
You know why? Because somebody has to hold the definition.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. So here's what I'll show you that is examples of how you fix that. Because I'm still that guy, right? I'm telling you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to disband the FDA. Again, this is not happening in real life. I am not a political analyst. I don't know anything. I'm just using this as an example before we get flagged. Mm-hmm. I don't like the FDA. They've defined things as junk food that should be healthy and things as healthy as it should be junk. They're pushing back at me. They're lobbying against me. They're actually lobbying with those guys so that they can stay in business. Those same guys that are complaining, they're not coming to me anymore. Yeah. They're going to the FDA and lobbying against me. So the FDA is going to put me into lawsuits and da-da-da-da. You know what? Bye. I don't like it. I'm going to call a new one. I'm going to call it the Food and Embezzlement Organization. And they're going to do the exact same thing as the FDA. But now they have a new name. And as they have a new name, I'm going to employ people to use this definition as junk food. And now when it goes through the judicial system, that same definition that I came up with has an organization that holds it. And now I can say to you, remember, Mr. Pringle, that's great. You're still a junk food. Now, can you please go make me a healthy freaking chip?
And that takes at least 8 years.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Right, but here's what I'm saying. You don't have 8 years.
No, you don't as a business. So get with it and make me a healthier chip. I'm not talking about as a business, as a government, bro. You only got 4 for a term. Sure.
And then you're looking at 2 in the midterms.
Okay,
right?
Do you as a business have 4 years to play with me in that? I have
100%.
I have 4 years to do whatever I want.
No, because I can litigate because it's already a part of what it is, right? For instance, he can't right now I'll use the Department of Education. He just did the executive order for that, right? Mm-hmm. But he needs Congress to actually dismantle it.
Sure.
Now you can say, hey, I would like for you to reduce staff, reduce this, that's fine. But you cannot get rid of the Department of Education. So you know what's gonna happen over the next 4 years? I can almost guarantee it. This is what I believe is gonna happen. And I may be wrong, but we'll see. I believe the Department of Education, upon Trump's leaving in 4 years, will still be here. It will not get dismantled because of litigation that will take place. I'm just going to hold up the time. If I know you're going to leave and we're going to get back to whatever it may be, or not back to, but like a similar version or whatever, I'm going to sue every court system until you get up out of there. So the statute is to get there, but then you also mean if you dismantle the FDA and you create another FDA, and we already know it to be the FDA. You just call it something different.
You just call it, 100%.
Your base didn't like the FDA. This base isn't going to like this.
No, but...
so when the next person comes in,
they're going to try
to
do
the same thing.
But this is our... Listen, that's what I'm trying to get us... I'm glad we're finally here. This is our democracy.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's all I'm trying to get us to point. So we can do that for the next 20 years, or you can go make me a healthier chip. What do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
But I don't think we get to that point. That's what I'm trying to say.
And then that's the problem with us, and this is why we're on the decline.
But we do. Okay, for instance, here's a perfect example.
There's some. Apple just made a big commitment, so there's some companies that are hearing me, and I'm not me. I'm representing the United States government right now. There's some companies that said, "I got you. My bad. Let me go make a healthier chip." because I realized I can fight you to death. I can move my entire business to different countries. I can do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to come back to this thing.
For sure. Some stuff is easier than others. So, for instance, I'll stay with the chip. The FDA has regulations. If we look at the regulations that got released by Donald Trump in his first presidency, specifically when it comes to food stuff, and you look at the correlation of foodborne illnesses, it is almost a direct correlation to that.
To that change.
Right. So my point is this. Every business is going to, you're the business people, y'all the business guys, you know this. If you can make more profit, stay within the boundaries of what has been given to you, but you also don't have to make something that is healthy,
You're going to do it.
what are you going to do? You're going to do that, right?
I know.
So if I'm Lay's,
that's
what I'm trying to say. If I'm Lay's and they said, hey, you can still make a chip, but you got to take out Red 40. I'm just using Red 40. Yeah. You can still make a chip, but you got to take out Red 40. Okay, fine. I took out Red 40. I substituted it for chemical or whatever that you as the FDA said is actually okay because you studied or whatever else.
Yes, you're
But my point is that is already what happened.
It's already,
and guess what?
That's what's happening. That's what the FDA is for. It's what they do.
Guess what? And you're agreeing with me. So I'm saying, as a government now, because
but then why do we dismantle the FDA?
I'm about to explain you. So what you're talking about now is my line of work. Now we can talk. So now I have to have the same conversation I just had with you with myself. I can go down this rabbit hole with this organization because I'll say Red 40 doesn't exist anymore, and they'll find Red 39 and say that's okay, and then they'll say, oh, well, they said Red 39 is okay, even though it's banned in 50 countries.
They did it with what's that stuff people use smoke K2.
It doesn't matter. It's going to consent. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I can play with this game for the next 20 years and finally, maybe, possibly get to a solution where everything's healthy, possibly. Or I can try to start again right now with the opportunity I have. Are the odds that I'm going to get this organization built in 4 years possible? Very low odds that you're going to be able to do that. But what's better of a game to play? To say that I'm trying to make change and just continue to do the same thing, or just try to make the change?
I think, no, I like the argument. What I'm trying to say is logistically, it would not happen, and here's why. Especially when you're talking about your base.
So then why fight? That's always my question. If I'm looking at this logistically and I say I'm defeated in 15 years anyway, what's the point of fighting? I'm just going to keep doing the same thing and lie to the people and say I'm here to change things, and then just keep going there and not change nothing.
I think that's where I think people are being disingenuous, bro.
Really?
Me personally, 100%.
Okay.
I think you talked about this, and this is me. This may sound elitist of me. You talked to me or said on a podcast a couple episodes ago. You were talking about how a lot of people, you talk to them, you were like, they're just really not smart. Like I've talked to a lot of people who are really not smart. I mean, the most of the nation is on like a 6th grade reading level. Okay. Yeah. I'm saying I understand how decisions have to be made when it comes to scientific decisions. That's not to say that lobbying doesn't exist. I'm not going to dismiss that.
We're never going to get rid of that.
Exactly.
That's right.
My point still is, though, there's a system and series of checks and balances of things that I have to do before I'm able to say this is healthy and or not healthy.
And the system that we currently have.
Right. And so I can't just, even if I were to dismantle them, the FDA, and I built another one, there's still somebody out there who is going to say, okay, cool, we can make these decisions, but they need to be, I have to be able to say that this actually is healthy. If not, we get sued.
Yes.
So that means this, though. Here's my point. My point is, you're going to go right back to the same science that your base already distrusts.
Listen, I'm saying if there's 2 or 3 steps of a switch, and I gave my shot, okay? Listen, if I gave my shot, I'm just keeping it a beam with you. If I was given the ball and they said, listen, here's all the things we did over the last 30 years that did not work.
Right.
Here's a list of things that we haven't tried yet, but we know that the probability of these things not working because of the last 30 years are very high. So I probably wouldn't even try this list of stuff that we had on our mind that might fix the problem because we know now with the 30 years of data that's not going to work. We don't have a solution. What do you have? That was a crazy.
The best example, Severance. What I said, Severance.
You understand?
Severance.
We don't have a solution. What do you have, right? So you're coming to me as the idea guy, right? And I may or may not have the best idea. That's another thing we're trying to make sure that we say out loud. Am I saying that the ideas are perfect and they're going to work 100% and it's going to save everything? Absolutely not. These are people just like you who couldn't figure it out for 30 years. This is the guy that's trying to figure it out for the first time. Like, you know what? And I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about everything when it comes to change. Any change agent, this is what it looks like when you're a change agent. It doesn't look like completely ironed out. You have everything figured out because you can't. You've had all these years of metadata that you've been using to put together your decision making to say that ain't gonna work. So we got to do a quick right, a quick 180, and I don't know what's over there. Here's what I can tell you.
But you could though.
Not
right?
necessarily, because if we did, the changes would have been made already, and we've already been on the course.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No. The course has not changed. If the course changes,
if we're speaking directly of the FDA, I believe that to be untrue.
No, I'm not.
And I think, even with a lot of the departments, this is why I don't like when we talk about government efficiency or anything in general.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing now, or what I believe to see now, is that the change that is happening as far as getting rid of people is optic change. It's not real change. It's optic change.
No, it's today, so it's obviously optic today.
But any change is going to happen if I say, hey, we're going from 10 players on a basketball team to 5.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. So if we spend our time pushing back on the change, I just want to understand the logic.
Yeah, go ahead.
We spend our time pushing back on the change, and nothing changes, and we're back to square one.
Yeah.
Who is the issue at that point? The change agent or the roadblock? And I'm going to say whoever is the person that is securing the roadblock is the problem. If the roadblock is a roadblock, it's a roadblock.
Sure.
A change agent is coming through to crush that roadblock.
Sure.
And we need to move it out the way. But if you're like, ooh, that brick is really pretty.
But change doesn't always have to be sweeping and swooping. Change can also be sweeping and swooping. I'm saying there's enough information, data, and stuff that we have done in the past and things that we have changed to show that you don't have to dismantle something to change it.
Those don't have to be this change.
So watch this. Those changes that you talked about being made, were those swoops and sweeps?
No.
No, they weren't. So is there another set of changes besides swoops and sweeps and whatever the title of types of changes those are? Is there another set that we haven't seen? Is there another subset of changes we haven't seen?
There's always, every single time something big happens, right? So most change comes out of lived experience.
Okay.
Right? Okay, we thought we'll put no child left behind or whatever. That was a big program for education stuff. Most people would say maybe that pendulum swung a little bit too far, and so now we got teachers and everybody so focused on testing that we are elevating students who are not actually ready to go.
Yeah.
Right. And so at that time, it was kind of a big sweeping change because it seemed like we were really focusing on education.
That's why
but the pendulum swung too far. So I know it takes time. Yes, there are some changes where you're like, this is big sweeping change, but there are some changes that can still fit within the system that we have already spent time researching and creating
in the moment. But if this is a blip in our, and I hate to be disrespectful because the word blip sounds disrespectful. There's real people behind those changes. There's real careers behind those changes. There's real education, money, time, effort. I am not crapping on anyone that went out there and tried to make change on this planet using any kind of government program. Please continue to fight the good fight. This is not a dig at the individual. I am just a numbers guy. At the end of the day, how many more 250-year segments do we need before we say you were right?
Enough.
We need a change. That's what I'm saying. We have 250 years of data.
I mean, Barack Obama ran on change.
Please don't get me started on Barry. Please.
Oh, but we're not going to.
Barry.
I can get you started, but we're not going to do it here.
No, don't get me started on Barry. Okay, but that's not what I'm talking about. Okay, Barry had 8 years out of 250.
Did a lot.
We'd have another conversation about
Did a lot.
Maybe actually, you're right.
Guaranteed.
You're right. He did a lot. You're actually right. He did a whole lot. But my point is,
no, he did. But here's the thing: I can guarantee you, if I run down things, because I think a lot of the rhetoric, especially in his last 3 years, are like very much so. Barack did only bad things. There's so much good that Barack did.
I will never not say that Barack did all bad.
But my point is, he had 8 and he did a lot of change, and we even got a different set of healthcare.
I'm saying the bad. I'm saying the bad.
The bad is bad.
It's so bad. No.
Oh, for sure.
It's so bad. And it was not ever talked about on purpose by the agents that were keeping it.
You name me one president where the bad isn't so bad.
No. So I guess that's the point I'm making to you. We're not going to big him up no worse than we big up any other president that had just as much darkness.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying what I'm saying.
Matter of fact, now that we're putting it into a big bundle.
No, here's my point before we get there. Okay. My point was that he made a lot of changes within the system that was already there.
Fantastic.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Let's put him back into that big bundle of presidents like you did. Now we're going to talk about the darkest. Got quiet. We can put him in the top. Got quiet. I can go down the list.
It got quiet because I'm waiting for you to say something.
I'm not. You said off air because I want to do it off air. This is a conversation it's a shift. So he has done a lot. So again,
for sure.
But going back to the point I was making, 250 years of metadata. I'll wait. How much more time do we need? I'm just saying because I live.
But what is the data? I'm gonna give you. Going back to junk food.
I'm gonna give you. How much more time? How much more data do we need? And meanwhile, my kids are getting older. I'm getting older. You're getting older. They're gonna start having kids. They're gonna have kids. And while we're trying to figure it out, and we actually have the means of change. Let's try some things right now.
Right. I'm not saying that we should not try things. I think that's where we get away from this. Again.
Okay, tell me more.
I'm not saying that we should not try things. I'm just saying, again, I'm back to the method of the things that we try.
Sure.
Do not make the, my purview is that a lot of these sweeping changes right now, especially executive orders, are just optics.
He said he actually agreed with it.
I
agree
just saying, like,
with this.
I'm just saying, I can see how people would be upset with it, and I don't want optic change. I want real.
He said, "I want to make sense."
But in the same breath, we talk about time as if it's not relevant for what's happening right now. It's only relevant when the time has passed. Well, what about now? This man has been in there for 2 months.
Right.
So of course it's optic.
Let me hear me out. No, time out.
Can I give you an example?
Time out.
No, but let me finish my statement and I'll give you an example so you can see the full scope of what I just said.
Okay, but
the argument was he didn't change egg prices on day one. Remember, he said it was day one. I'm mad about day one. It should have been day one. It should have been egg prices at its lowest in 7-8 months, and it was maybe 4 weeks later. So are we mad that it's day one?
It wasn't 4 weeks later.
5. Okay,
it wasn't even 5 weeks later.
6, 7, 8. Pick a number.
Right. My point is, first off, we went back up, and let's even talk about eggs went up, but we'll even get there.
Is it down?
My point is that. Is it down? It's back to the same level as it was 7-8 months ago. It's not even really down.
Down from what? The height that it was at that people were complaining about?
For sure. Why was it high?
So what are we talking about?
Where are eggs at in your city? Put in the comments.
So I just want to make sure we're
Why was it high?
Hold on. I'll answer your question. I just want to make sure that we're addressing that. We're moving. So the first goal.
No, I'm not moving the needle. I'm not moving the needle. But here's my point to that. This is my point where I said time out.
Okay.
We would have never said shit about day one if he didn't say shit about day one.
I already said that.
So then that's a moot point to me. I don't give a damn about when he did it.
Then I would agree to that.
That's
so
what
then
I'm saying.
the prices drop. Who cares if it was at 7 months ago or whatever? The prices drop. Mute point to me.
No, it's not.
Mute point. If it dropped from where it was at, there's a mute point to if it was below or not.
If I said I was going to give you $1,000 tomorrow because I owed you $1,000 and I didn't give it to you in 8 months. That's not the same thing. It is the exact same thing.
How?
I told you when I was going to give you what you wanted me to give you. People wanted time out.
You just said it was a mute point.
I said it's a moot point for you bringing it up when he's the one that brought up the timeline.
Okay.
We would not have cared about timeline if he never said timeline.
The issue was the timeline. from the beginning, am telling you from somebody who never cared about the timeline. I know, since we're going to go like that, when has Trump said anything, and I'm going to keep saying this, I didn't vote for the guy. I'm not a supporter. I'm just saying since we're going to act like that, let's act like that. When has Trump said anything where you word for word was like he's saying everything correctly right now? Since the beginning of his life.
Matt, this is what I'm trying to say to you. I'm talking not only on my side.
Sure.
I understand that. I'm talking about the base of people who really don't respect him and why they don't respect him.
Because
you
of
don't
that.
have to, that's what I'm saying.
And that's fine.
I have a reverence, or people may have a reverence or think certain people should act a certain way.
Sure.
And so if I am voting for you off of the promises you're saying you're supposed to give me,
yeah,
and you either do not deliver on those promises, you delay the deliverance on those promises, or you come out and tell me this is the day I'm going to get it.
Because that's not just him, and it's not just that party. It can't be true.
100%.
But he's saying if he didn't put a time limit on it.
Them same people don't like, and I'll just use Barack Obama or Joe Biden.
Okay.
It's the reason why people don't like Joe Biden.
Are you saying to me, if those Democratic Party leaders and or presidents that's ever run the party before were late on their promise,
yes,
you should not have voted for them?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying people have a right to be upset and mad. That's what I'm saying.
It started with it was a vote.
No, I'm saying I voted for you I'm telling the people who don't like him.
Sure.
Feel like I can't trust you.
But they didn't vote for him. I'm talking about the people that voted for him. And do you think that the people that voted for Trump,
yes,
do you truly believe that they were hanging their belief on him that eggs would be dropped on the first day? Because I'm sticking to this.
Yeah, it's almost like a...
No, I'm not.
I want you
to... Like
we're not moving the goalposts. You said supporters.
Sure. No, I did not say... We'll run a replay back. I can guarantee you 100,000% I didn't say Trump supporters.
No, I'm talking about supporters. I'm talking about... You said people being upset for the person they voted for.
No, that's not what I'm saying either. I'll run that back to you.
You just said that.
No, I'm saying the people who do not trust. That's what I said. The people who do not trust and like Donald Trump, the reason why and they're the loudest people. I talk about this. People with the megaphone. They're the loudest people in opposition to the egg thing because he said something on day one.
That's what I'm saying. So stop for a second. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying, of course.
Right.
Let's back up definitions. Are those people that you're talking about, would you think that those people are Trump voters and or supporters?
No.
No, right? So, okay, my question was.
So the moot point to that is if we already know that they're not, then why is the eggs even an argument? My point is the people who are bringing it up, if you're going to bring up the egg argument, you're talking about the people who are on the opposite side who are bringing it up. And the reason why
But they're not bringing up the egg argument. They're bringing up the day that he said he would have it done
But
by.
that's my point. My point is that you're the president.
Sure.
You made the promise. You didn't do
but
that.
check me out.
So I'm
this
not
is
praising
your
you.
argument is when
no,
he
my
got the
point
eggs.
is my point is this. No, here's my point. You're talking to me about people who lost to this man, right? Who did not get him in there, right? Who already don't support him, right? That are going to have an issue with him, right? I think those people, when it comes to this specific moment, because they didn't ask him to do that thing, right? Remember, they didn't vote for him to do that thing.
But maybe I say, but my thought.
We can agree?
No, for sure.
Okay, you didn't vote for me to do that thing, so you don't even really think I could have done that thing. That's why you didn't vote for me. We can agree. I'm going to go line for line.
Oh,
here.
100%.
Okay, so real quick, what matters more about what he said about his egg prices, I would say, would be the majority of the folks
As long as the egg go down, that's it.
who put him in. So I'm going to ask the question again. Do you think his supporters were more concerned about him dropping egg prices on the first day or dropping egg prices when they dropped?
Right. I'm saying you brought up people being upset about the egg prices.
Which were not supporters.
Right. But I'm saying that's why it's a moot point. Because his base don't care about that. Now, if you would have bring up maybe the deportation and people who are his supporters who have come out and said actually things flip, that would have been a different conversation.
But
I'm talking about
that.
But that's my point. My point is that you brought up the eggs and people who are upset. That means we're talking about people who are not his supporters. I'm not talking about his supporters. I'm talking about specifically people who are talking about you didn't do it at day one. You promised me one thing, or you said you did one thing. This is the reason why I don't trust you. So anytime you bring up,
you might be right. I think I brought up the argument of the one day for a reason, and I'll tell you my reason. So, because we're bringing it to 180 to this. So, and again, I'm not trying to say that people that think that way, what they're thinking is not important, because that's the issue I have with the way I think. I find that when you don't pick a side per se, your thinking to other folks is like off-putting almost, like not taken serious, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to put off the other people who think that one day was an issue, right? What I'm trying to get us to grasp here is that sometimes sensationalism can be driven by our own need to want to drive sensationalism. And I am saying at the top of this conversation, what's important is the man doing what he said he's going to do. How many times?
Okay, pause right there real quick.
Yes, I know what you're going to say.
Said I know what you're doing what he said. I know
what you're going to say. Specifically, okay. Then I'll go back to the same argument. What president in the history of presidents has specifically done, including Mr. Barry, the things he said he was going to do? Nobody. So there goes an example of a moot point.
Let's pause. No, because I didn't even bring that up. Do we have
There's a president that's done everything they said they were going to do.
But yeah, no, I'm not saying everything. That's not what I'm saying. My point is.
So then that president did not do what he said he was going to do.
No.
I'm so confused. What are we talking
because
about?
you're talking. Here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The reason why people feel as if on both sides they don't trust the person is because they have an idea or a vision of who the person's going to be. Meaning.
Okay.
Or the position. If I go talk to a person here. Mm-hmm. And I go talk to the president, would you expect my respect or the way I talk to those two different people to be different? Follow me. Yes or no? Would you expect that if I went into, this is the same thing about buddy not having a suit going into the Oval Office, right? Mm-hmm. Because if I can go across the street to my neighbor, I can be in my PJs. But if I go in the Oval Office, there's a certain reverence for certain people and things. There's an esque, right? Yeah. Okay, so here we go. That same esque with great responsibility becomes great. With great power comes great responsibility.
Agreed.
If you are going to do certain things, and if you are leveraging those promises to either get my vote or to take somebody else to that vote or whatever, I am banking on you doing what you trust or said you're going to do or trying to do. I'm saying if Trump never put a deadline on the eggs, this is why people feel a way about him. If he did not put a deadline on the eggs, nobody's talking about this. The eggs came down and people can actually, the people who hate him are still going to say, oh, he did whatever. The ammo you gave them is you gave them a deadline.
Okay. So then
that's what I'm trying to say.
So the feedback I'm hearing, and
the
reason why these conversations are fantastic.
Stop the bravado.
The reason why these conversations are fantastic is because, one, we have to hold the line. And I can find example after example of Democratic representation leadership-wise over the last 30 years that I've voted for that are just as bravado characters. And they get smoked from the right. Sure they do, but that doesn't stop them from being inconsistent, and it doesn't stop them from the Democratic supporters supporting their. Matter of fact, I don't know how many times even myself have defended these leaders when the people on the right would attack them for the exact same thing of not being exact and not being on point and all these other things, and we would say, "Relax, guys, you know what they meant. This is a legitimate thing." So it's just weird that the energy is flipped. And it just feels weird. Not because...
it's hard for me to... I mean, I'll have to go dig in the archives, but it's hard for me to do.
Plenty.
As many times as Trump has said, on this day, this is what will happen.
Sure.
He does it all the time.
Sure.
So I'm saying...
So now the one time this egg thing is... That's what I'm saying. We have several examples.
No. I'm saying that's why people find him untrustworthy.
No, I'm not even disagreeing with you on that.
That's all I'm saying. I think if he would do... My whole point to that is that I think he would fare better as a president if he did not put timelines on stuff. If he just did the thing.
But and I know we got to close, but I can see what you're saying. There's a convenience of people saying, with all this data and information you have from previous presidents of not coming through, why are we then applying pressure
this guy
to this guy
2,000
years later?
He's the most sensational. That's why. Let's be honest.
No, but I mean, maybe. But you're going to tell me the same wasn't applied to Joe Biden when he was in there?
No, bro, that's what I'm trying to get across.
No,
hear me out. I'm actually with Corey on this. That's the point I'm trying to make here. We have to recompense with ourselves at some point and say we are choosing to do this
because
we want to.
No, I
just have to say that because I have literally every other president since the beginning of time that has gone through this process.
George Bush, a whole bunch of
one.
Yeah, pick one.
There's not a single president that has been unilaterally loved in this country ever.
Well, it would never be.
Because why? Because we have a democracy.
Right. I don't think that it's and that's not even the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to say, me personally.
You say he's not trustworthy.
No,
I can tell you that there's another side of every president where there's a group of people that thought that president wasn't 100%. Trustworthy.
100%. I'm saying, to the same sensationalism you're talking about towards Trump, I'm saying it was no different to Joe Biden. It came from a different party.
I totally agree.
So that's why I'm like, I don't even care about that aspect. The more aspect I'm talking about to this point is just about sweeping changes to situations, organizations, or things
here's where we come back.
that are already there.
I'm glad you're here. Here's where we come back. Because we were talking about change, and that's what I was trying to get to. Real change. You talking about incremental change. Yeah, okay, old boy did what he did, but
every change, whether incremental or sweeping, is still real change.
Thank you. Now we're on the same page. Now, me and you don't even have to talk about this. You and I both agree change is change, right?
Yes.
But we can also agree, like everything, we're not going to be naive and say that there's not levels.
100%. Sometimes you need to sweep and change. I will agree with you there too.
I believe, based off of, again, this is not a Matt thing. This is 250 years of data. 250 years of data. We've got data on how America runs itself through all kinds of stuff. World War I, II, III, depressions, financial collapses. You pick one. Housing markets crash. Cars crash. Pick. What I'm saying is, what tests more do we need? How many more bad tests do we need? I'm saying
you could have said this at every single stage.
Sure.
And I think this is what my point is. I don't believe, and this is where you and I differ. Yeah. I don't believe we're here now. That is different than 4 years ago. That was different than 8 years ago.
I totally agree with you. I
think at every moment, this is how people felt. We have the years of data. We need to change now, which is why they put the people in place. They felt that they needed to put the people in place.
Me and you will agree here. I just want to make sure I keep saying
this.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
We agree on a lot.
Which is why I'm cool with this, but I also don't want to negate the fact that there have been so many regulations when it comes to what people could put in foods. It's why you can't put cocaine in Coke anymore.
That's right.
Right? Like there has been over the years. Sure. When we figure out there's a link here, this causes people to die, here's the unhealthy thing, that thing either gets banned or gets regulated down. So those things in my head, in the science that I'm reading and how it's taking place.
So watch this.
It's already taking place.
I agree with you. I'm saying now that we have a big old bucket of data, we'll say that the cocaine came out, the red 40 came out, the yellow 4, right? And then you start saying to yourself, wait, what is the through line? I keep talking about this through line because I'm a data guy. What's the through line? The through line says it's not the changes that are making the problems. It's they keep finding new ways to make us change something. What is it that they're doing that they keep finding a loophole to get us to figure out that it's killing us, and then we have to go tell them to stop, and then bring a new change.
But that's going to happen until the day we die.
Sure, but I'm saying at what pace? And if we can stop the pace a little bit faster.
But we won't. That's what I'm trying to say. We live in a capitalist society, bro.
So then why make the change? Now you see the conundrum. What's the point? What's the point of wasting energy on something that you know for a fact won't change because we live in a capitalist society?
Because it's money. If I have the opportunity to sue X, Y, and Z, whether it be the government, the drug administration.
Why have a democracy? Just say, guys, keep doing whatever y'all want to do to us. We're not going to fight you because we don't care, because you guys are going to do it anyway. I don't want to even vote every 4 years.
Because
just
we can
pick
have,
what you're going to pick.
But see, that's what I'm saying. This is my point.
Yeah.
It's like harm reduction.
Sure.
Right? The theory, the precipice of harm reduction is, I know that you're going to do this thing. I want to be able to help regulate, educate so that you do it safely. You're going to do it. You're going to have sex.
Sure.
But let's educate you about what sex really is, sexual transmitted infections, how you can have safe sex, and these things. And I can even offer you certain access to where you can do it safely. So I know you're going to do these things. Let me try to regulate it down enough to where we can still keep a safe and healthy society. That's what I think the government serves. That's why these administrations serve.
I totally agree with you. So as long as you understand that I'm agreeing with you right now.
No, that's what I'm saying.
With this description of what you're saying, I 100% believe in regulation. I'm saying, what if the regulation is so faulty that it's not real regulation? It just looks like regulation on paper because that's what we have accepted.
But what would have been? But true. But I'm saying for the most things, especially when it comes to food, I can show you the scientific articles. I can show you the data that correlates that this is not one of them faulty things. You want to know why egg prices went up?
Yeah.
Regulations were released during Trump presidency that weren't able to be overturned during Joe Biden's presidency, and you've seen all the chickens and shit getting sick.
Yeah, of course.
Because those regulations were released.
That's right.
If they were back to what they were under, we wouldn't have those.
And again, this is why you have to be careful, because if you want to make those types of changes, swing changes,
you have to deal with the fallout.
Collateral damage.
Not only do you have to deal with the fallout,
when you pray for the rain, you got to deal with the mud.
And I don't even like collateral damage because that implies ignorance in some ways.
Yeah,
I don't like that. Yeah. I'm saying the opposite. If you're going to make these sweeping changes, have a big boy plan for the backup. This is why I think he'll always have another organization that he's going to have on the back end.
But if
I'm going to hand off Department of Education to the states, and I'm going to create an organization. Right. I'm going to hand off FDA, and I'm going to create an organization.
But if that organization does the exact same thing.
I'm saying don't do the exact same thing.
But that's what they're going to do.
No.
They have to.
Hear me out. You're like... So if I put a crack in, I've seen this because I've replaced 2 windshields now. I can get a crack in the windshield, like a little tight one. 6 months later, that thing gonna be across the screen, right? Now at the time when it hit, it was but at 6 months later, now I've schismed all the way across my
sure.
Okay. So even if it's one change different from the FDA to this thing, and if it's one, right now you're gonna call it incremental. This is why I was telling you about time.
Can I use that windshield analogy?
Please.
In 2019, I got a small crack in my windshield. 2019, I got a crack in my windshield in my car right now. It's actually still there. I called SafeLight. They fixed the crack with the resin, the proper application of what it was supposed to happen.
That's correct.
That crack has not grown, and my windshield has been perfect since then. That's what I'm trying to say.
There's some dents that you can do that with. Now ask them because I did the same thing through SafeLight. I know exactly what you're talking about. Now I can tell you that the science behind that is there's a certain length that dent can't go past before they can tell you need to replace that windshield.
Yes, it's too big.
It's too big for me to fix it. I don't give a damn 100%. What kind of resin you use. You can use the resin from
100%. And then you have to get a new windshield Wakanda. Or deal with the cracks.
100%. Or if you can't afford the windshield, you're going to have this long crack at the end of the day.
Right. Here's what I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah.
Replacing the windshield to me equivalent here, you took one product out that is the exact same product and fit it right back in. So my point is, yes, we may be able to do that. But you don't have to dismantle completely this thing. Yeah. You could say, hey, what we're gonna do is we found these things. To me, doing a full repair, that's a repair and not a.
I say knock the windshield out, and the manufacturer was a Tesla for my car. I say knock the windshield out and give me a safe ride repair replacement. It looks just like a Tesla windshield. Acts just like a Tesla windshield. That brings back to his Pringles just come out with another.
But what is it
that I can sell?
Here's what I'm saying. You went with a different company. It's still a windshield.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but
it's not the same windshield. It's not the same windshield. Manufactured by Tesla was what I had on there originally. Because I couldn't afford the Tesla windshield, I went to the off-brand windshield and it's now on my car. Is that the same windshield? No. Does it offer the same kind of protection to my face when I drive? Absolutely. But it is not manufactured
let
the
me
same.
give you that. Let me give you the same thing. If I put resin in my windshield because I had a crack, it is not the same windshield. It wasn't the windshield that I got when I got it.
Agree. I totally
so
agree.
So my point, but it's still a windshield is what I'm trying to say.
I agree with you. And that's what I'm trying to
The
get you to
changes
understand.
I want to see, here's what I'm saying.
I want to see you put more than resin.
No, I'm not even saying that.
I want to see replacements.
I'm saying if you're gonna, the windshield works.
Mm-hmm.
It is tried, it is proven, it works, and we can fix it when it needs to be fixed, or we can replace it, but we're still replacing it with another windshield. My point is, and people trust that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying we're gonna dismantle this and I'm gonna build something anew, don't give me another windshield. You told me you're gonna build something anew. Build something anew. Give me you don't take my tire off and put another tire on.
I say to that, if that's how you want your windshield to be built, you make sure. Hold on, make sure that you start a safe light company. You hire the guy that builds the windshields that way. Right now, the guy that builds windshields, he replaces them. Because that's what the people that work for Safe Light, that's who they hired.
Sure.
So you can tell him, build my windshield. He's going to say, I don't do that. And the guys that pay me, they don't want me to do that. They want me to replace the windshield. So again, make me a chip.
You're still missing my point. I'm going to use chips.
Okay.
I'm going to use chips. You can make a different type of chip that does a different thing, but it's still a computer chip. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Okay. My thing is, I'm not saying there's 18 water companies and they all have 18 different brands and maybe this one puts a little bit more salt. They're still serving you water. It just tastes different. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if that's the case and it tastes different, maybe I like the taste of this. Some of these agencies are already doing great work, and all they need, this is my purview right now, all they need is either a resin or something else, and some of them have the big cracks that need to be replaced.
Yes.
And I'm fine with that, 100%. I'll never get...
And guess what? You're looking at it, and again, as you should, working in a silo, I understand why you look at it in a silo. I'm saying... I'm the government looking at all of the silos. So you may have a resin fix, but what if 90% of the other programs have a crack fix? And I don't care about that resin fix, even if it is the greatest resin that's ever been created of all time, the greatest fix. I've never seen another crack come on that windshield. That is fantastic. But sir, your crack is the smallest percentage of care.
But here's why I don't believe that to be true. Here's why.
Okay, now that's where we have a difference.
No, but I'm telling you, here's why. When sweeping changes happen or whatever else, I also know that in order for you to be able to tell me that the fixes that we've been doing before don't work is because you either have the people in there who have been doing it, tried, true, and studied and have been doing it, and there is time for it to go through the testing and natural process for it to be.
There we go.
So if you come in, but that's what I'm saying. You can't come in now because we're not there now.
And what time are you talking about? Are you talking about the time that you need, or are you talking about the time that I have as a government?
The time that has been you're gonna
have
the
time 250 years. So I'm saying, are you talking about the time you need to try to
enact
enact change?
For sure.
Okay, I'm saying I've already got 250 years.
Right, and in 250 years, there's plenty of data that says the fixes that we have been making right now are the right fixes.
And I'm saying to you, the people of America don't agree with you, and the stats don't agree with you, and that's what I'm trying to get you to say.
For sure. I feel like you may feel that way. I'm saying I think a lot of people in America and the people who think they do, they're not looking at the true data. They're not.
So you're saying the majority?
The majority of people are not looking at the true data. 100%. They're going with how many?
I don't agree.
You literally told me the people who you talked about voting are not looking at this stuff.
Listen, what I said, the majority voters are the people who voted for that man to be in office. That's 100%. The majority.
You're telling me who read at a 6th grade level.
You're saying, okay, so we understand the Democratic Party is more educated than the Republican Party. This is not meaning just has more degrees as the Republican Party. We all know this to be the case. I'm trying to get you to say to me that you believe that the Democratic Party is that much more educated.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can easily be duped by somebody who's coming in with a certain bravado telling you one thing, and this is another thing. This is what has happened plenty of times. How many times has Donald Trump or this administration been fact-checked and been wrong in the things that they are given?
Same to the Democratic leaders over the years.
Okay, but I can...
Including that data you're saying is incorrect.
100%. Check this out, though. I can also go and show you that the people that Donald Trump is way more fact-checked because he gets stuff wrong.
Sure. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Are we arguing the number of fact checks, or are we arguing the fact that those people that were fact checked?
A fact check means you were incorrect with the data you gave, right?
That's what I'm saying. Are we arguing the amount of more fact checking that was done, or are we arguing the fact that both sides are fact checking?
I'm arguing that. Here's what I'm trying to say. To this point, man, if you say if I got fact checked 3 times, fact check means the information, the data that I gave you was incorrect.
I'm 100%.
Okay, hear me out. That. If I got fact checked 10 times because my information was wrong 10 times.
That's right.
And you got fact checked 150 times because your information was wrong 150 times.
That's right.
I can't only just trust the information that you give me. You shouldn't be trusting the information anybody gives you.
Here's what I'll say to you.
My point is,
you're less trustworthy than this untrustworthy guy. That's all I'm saying to that.
Yeah, that's fine.
It. So as long as that's what I'm saying, they're both untrustworthy.
My point is, okay, you're less untrustworthy than
the other untrustworthy guy.
Somebody might flip there and say this person is more trustworthy than that person is.
As long as they're both untrustworthy because they're not telling the truth. They're both being fact checked by your definition.
No, but that sure.
Okay.
What we leave on everybody, trust is a thing.
So there's
right?
levels.
No, trust is a thing, correct?
Okay.
So either you start with trust, you earn trust, or whatever. But trust is a thing. We understand it to be true, right?
True.
So some people have trust, but everybody is untrustworthy, correct?
So this is the argument of like.
Is that correct?
That's correct. So this is the argument of like, yes, so somebody he lied about being in the military.
Somebody could be trustworthy and more trustworthy than somebody else, correct?
So there's levels. We're back to the levels.
No, I'm just saying, correct?
I agree with you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Time's getting crazy. I gotta go in there. But if that is the case, my point to that is going back to the data. When you ask people who voted for Trump, and I've seen these videos, I've read these articles, I've seen the tweets, to bring up, I just like his policies. I like this. Hey, tell me one of the policies they like. There's a lot more videos of people who didn't even read the policies. And sure, he can say,
I could find the same videos.
Right, 100%. But that goes to my point that I don't think people are actually reading and understanding the data. That's all I'm trying to say.
And I agree with you. And
so the 250 years that you're saying that America doesn't agree, I'm saying America don't know. It has been duped.
And that's fantastic. But I'm saying just like you and I both can look at that 250 years worth of data right now. And we're smart enough to be able to take that metadata and make our own conclusions based off of all the metadata. I'm saying there's people like you and I that exist. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree with that.
And I'm not going to say majority or minority or none of that. All I'm saying is the fact of the matter is, because again, this goes back to the untrustworthy, trustworthy thing. You can say that about who's more trustworthy than the other. The fact is they're both liars. That's what I'm trying to get to the point. Now, this might be a better liar than the other one because he did less lying. So I can say, wow, that guy's a much better liar than this guy.
And that same reframe is, if you lie less, I trust you more.
And as long as we're saying that we're lying.
Right. And everybody knows that.
So what doesn't lie is the metadata.
That's also not true.
No, now you can scope the data to form whatever conclusion you want to form is I think what you're going to. I can take metadata and turn it into a lot of different things. But there's specific questions that can be asked and specific data that is attached to those questions that can help you come to conclusions about what you're looking at. Like, I don't have to say something like, what was the graduation rate in 1954 and have to break down the metadata of 54 graduation rate. I can say, okay, back then there wasn't a lot of the type of tracking that they were doing was not as accurate per se because they didn't have computers, but the error was probably not as much because they're doing it by hand. They're kind of doing it like in a census. These people are actually graduating. They're actually showing this data across the globe. I'm able to see who graduates across the globe, and we can combine that and say who is actually considered the top percentage of smart people on the planet based off graduation rate. Does that mean that they're smart immediately? No. I'm just saying off the graduation rate, I can ask a question about the graduation rate. And that's not a fumble. That's just what were they at in 1954? Where are we at now? How much more time do we need?
Okay, here we go. Let's stop that. And that's where I think, and this is no disrespect to you.
Yeah.
That's where I think people get data wrong, is they stop there. They do not add.
We can keep going.
No,
yes.
I'm saying, but you do not add in the context. And that's where most people do.
Yes.
I, as CNN, NBC, as HLN, whatever it can be, will post that data.
Yes.
And allow
keep
it there.
No, I don't want that, though. I don't want that. That's just the first question.
Right. But my point is that most people, and probably the millions of people who voted, are not going further. They're just stopping there. That's why I'm saying the data's out there. Sure. Yeah, but the context is not always out there either.
So guess what? Whose job is it? Because that person's doing their job of
collecting the data.
No, of showing the data that they want to make them look good. Whoever that person is. Let's call it the Republican Party. So if the other party is trying to take over that person, what's probably the best thing they would do?
They fact check.
Forget the fact checks.
That's what they do.
No, that didn't work. I'm saying
I'm saying they still do it.
Sure, but they shouldn't. They should do more. There should be more than fact checking because I can do that on Google, on AI. I can do it myself. Research. So it's like, no.
But people don't.
No, show me that thing you just told me. Give me the context. If you want to beat us,
bro. But that's what I'm saying, bro. I can show you even right now what happened today.
Not you. The leaders of the Democratic Party.
This is what I'm trying to tell you, bro. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
people, especially people who do not move, this is psychology in this too.
Sure.
If people are dug in their ways, it doesn't matter how many facts I give you, you're going to believe what you want to believe. You can give me fact after fact after fact.
Does that mean that you have to stop your duty of getting the point across?
No, but my point to you is that the people are, and I'm telling you, even in these fact checks, it's not just when you say, oh, Matt said 3.8, the fact checker said 3.9.
Yeah.
I'm talking about when I'm seeing these fact checks, and I saw one in real time today with the White House press secretary, they gave the context too, and people are still not going to care on that. She doubled down on her point when she was even wrong with the context.
Yeah, and KCP had a bunch of those moments. And
that's my point. That's my point. But that's my point is that we're not even doing true with the data. So even with the 250 years of data, we're just reading it and saying, oh, from here to here, and I won't even get into a certain situation that is with me personally, like with my work. We look at the numbers and we say, oh, this is what this means. I'm like, actually, that's not what it means at all.
I'm saying, because I'm part of my brain works like this: show me, and show me means get up and show me, and that means you got to go hard forever. If you think that your message is that much louder, then be louder.
I think some of the information is out there. People either don't know where to look for.
No, is it people's job?
Why not?
No, it's not people's job. It's the person who's talking about, I want to be a leader. It's their job to show why they should be the leader and beat the other guy.
Right.
And get your money.
For sure.
Then get up.
And not even beat the other guy, because I don't even want to get into that.
I said that to be facetious, but you get my point.
If you're saying that is the point, then you're going also back to my point of, if you're going to do the work, I need to trust that you're doing the work too. That's all I'm trying to say. I need to trust that you're doing the work. I know that I can understand when, here's a perfect example. I know how the judicial system works. I know how the executive branch and everything works. I know that there is a House. I know things have to pass in the House, have to go to the Senate, and if they pass in that, then it has to be signed into law. I understand that. Some people don't understand that, but I understand that, right? So I understand sometimes that, like, for instance, in 2 years in the midterms, if the House flips or the Senate flips, I understand that it's already going to be hard for Trump to do anything. I understand that when Joseph Biden was in as the president, it was hard for him to do a lot of things because he did not have control of the House and the Senate. I understand those things because the context is there. Right. But what I'm saying is most people look at the data as just being, well, Trump was the president, or Joe Biden was the president.
I say to you that there's people like myself that have gone through the context.
Sure, I agree with you. I'm just saying we're small, bro.
Sure, and I'm not discrediting that. So I'm trying to show you with what we know that we're small. We know that we've been small for a very long time, since the 50s. This group of thinkers, these people like you and I who are in this weird space where we're not kind of committed to one area. We're figuring out, like, wait a minute, there's more here. That group of thinkers has been small. They've been calling it all kind of stuff: third party, green party, separatists, all kind of.
I even think within the Republican Party and Democratic Party, there's still
separation. Sure,
yeah.
But my point is, everyone does their job to make sure it's not part of the two. They put you in this weird bubble of, like, you don't know what you are. That's always been a thing. So that small minority you're talking about has been there forever. So that, again, we'll go back to 250 years. How much more time do we need as a small party to realize that there must be something sweepingly done in order to make the change? It can't just be that we're saying, and I'll give you the example, back to the courtroom. Your Honor, he beat me over the face. He slapped me in the back. He did all these things. He said I was this. He said I was that. He said I was a terrible person. Sir, what do you say to that? She's lying. Okay. Yeah, it's because you don't understand the context. Okay. Yeah, but if you knew the context, can you please offer me
But here we go. But here's what I'm saying to you, bro. Yeah. And I see this every day because people hit me in the DMs or whatever else, and they ask me, and I am able to give them that. The context is out there.
No, I'm saying
my thing is hold on, hear me out.
Yeah,
bro. I made a web page. You can go to my web page and literally get there. That was me giving you that. I'm not gonna knock on your door and show you this and sit you down.
You're not. Because you're not a political official.
You think no. You think these politicians out here are going to do that? They're not doing that.
No, they're not doing that, and this is what I'm trying to say.
But they're not going to, bro.
And that's my problem. That's my problem. So stop talking to me about change.
But that's what I'm saying. There's not enough manpower who's going to do that.
Then go get it. Go make it. There's people in our history that have done this. And with all those odds against them, even harder.
No, they do this in a way, especially during election season. You have people out here knocking on doors to try to get you to vote for somebody.
I'm talking about before that.
Okay.
So
sure.
Answer me this: the political parties that moved prior to the political parties that we have today, and we can go to the 60s and 70s because that's popular. Everybody loves to go there for those political parties. But choose an era before this that was easier than it is right now to get our job done. And I can tell you, you won't find an era. that it was easier for them to get their job done politically and grab their people's attention. Did they have social media? Did they have cell phones? Did they have any of that? That's just the base level. We ain't talking about political pressures or social pressures. We ain't talking about none of that. I'm just talking about base level. They didn't have no technology, and they got hundreds of thousands of people to do marches, million-man marches. And man, stop. Get out there.
Okay, true.
And do the different thing.
Again, is it different? Is it old? Is it played out? Is it tactical? Is it enough to move the needle? And
we know that maybe didn't work. We know this ain't working. So maybe we do something new.
Okay, here we go. So let's say what would be the new thing? The new thing isn't necessarily dismantling stuff. Stuff has been dismantled before.
No, they're doing that. We don't have to worry about that. Like, we're not worried about what they're doing already.
So I'm saying
let's us come together and have more of these conversations. This is what I truly believe. People like you and I and Brian and whoever else that have not monoliths and we all think in a very close line. Like, you and I agree on a lot of stuff. But to your point, that sometimes that small little schism will make us go left or right in a certain conversation, just like anyone else on the planet. I think when we're trying to make real change and we're saying, actually, we see what the powers at play are doing, we want to make real change, we need to have these uncomfortable conversations first. It needs to get out here first so we can throw it all in the bundle and see exactly what happened today. Because we're going to go back and replay this episode, and you're going to see 9 times out of 10, we actually agree with each other.
Right, I'm giving you where I like to be on this. Yeah, where people are on the other side of that, and I can.
That was objectivity. That's what I said.
The objectivity, right?
Yeah,
and I can see, and to some point, I understand because of the nation we say that we're built on. We're built on a nation of freedom and having choices. And now, in any choice, whether you tell me you want more regulation or less regulation,
that's right.
For a group of people, you're telling them that they have less choice in what they do.
But I'm saying that's because we it's hard for us to accept this. But I asked Brian to do this today. We're going to talk. Our word is democracy. That's our word. It's the trigger word. It's the word that's got us wrapped around the finger of this idea of the American dream, which I am not saying the American dream is not real. I believe in it. I'm a part of it. I understand the American dream. I do. But I've actually fully embraced the American dream to the point where I know what it truly is. So what does the actual Pledge of Allegiance say? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Now, what we want it to say and what we act like it says in real life, and this is why we talk the way we do with each other, is, and to the democracy for which it stands. Now, hold on a second. It doesn't say that. It says, and to the republic. What is a republic? A group of states with their own values that come together and to make a republic, okay? A joint decision around the group of states that come together to do so, right? Okay, so this is a republic that we're protecting.
Well, that's the pledge, but what does it say?
No, this is the pledge that we make to the republic that we said we're going to protect. And that's what we're doing here. And if we're going to do that, let's do it for real. You want to talk about the republic? You're not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a centrist. I'm not nothing. We are Texan. Let's get in the room and let's talk about how we can make Texas better. And these are some things that we need to see. And you may not agree with some things I agree with, but I guarantee you we'll start finding a lot of things that we agree on, and we can say, let's bring that to the middle. Right?
I think we do. I think that happens, and I think we get to where I agree with you on the people level.
Not where we need, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I want to make sure I'm separating myself a little bit.
I think we need to get, me personally, and this sounds radical, I think there needs to be some separation
There we go, come on.
Separation of the people and the politicians. No,
Thank
but
you.
I'm not,
That's
that's
what
what I'm saying,
time.
we're in the same thing.
Thank you.
But I already think a lot of the people are there, and some of those movements happen, it hasn't organized within us, it hasn't gelled within us.
I'm saying the reason why it hasn't, I'm stopping the excuses. There isn't anything holding. We're not doing it. It's that simple.
No, I don't think. No,
it's not.
It's not. It's not. Let me tell you why. Hold on. Let me get off. You said it's that simple. Let me tell you why I think it's not that simple.
Sure.
Because there's still elements of it's almost like coercion. There's still elements of perceived or real power that is in play. If you take away. If you are in the position and I'm organizing and you're still taking away some things to me that make it hard for me to do the basic needs, live, eat, and sleep, it's hard for me to still do the revolution, and I get it.
That's because you guys think, not you, I'm saying the people who feel like that is because, bro, we think that we're going to get it done in our generation.
No, it's not going to happen. But that's been everybody, right? Yeah. Every single revolutionary person thought that they were going to get it done in their generation. So
here's what I'm saying. Make the groundbreaking changes now that cannot be reversed no matter what. You see what I'm saying? Because there's some things that the Constitution holds strong to that can't be budged no matter what happens.
I'm just saying the way it's set up right now, bro, and we're at a point it's very impossible to do.
I'm literally saying it's not going to happen in our generation. But I'm saying, like, if you knew that the wheel was coming in the future, you're going to make bolts.
Sure. But I think a lot of people, like, for instance.
We know the wheel's coming.
I think a lot of people don't care about their fellow man. They care about themselves.
We know this. I already told you. The government doesn't even care. They said they're going to protect themselves.
They care about themselves.
So my point to you is, we know the wheel's coming. We've seen enough. We've got the data. We're not the Israelites. We've got the data. Yeah. Okay? We've seen enough. The wheel's coming. Shame on us if we don't build the boats. That's all I'm saying. We don't have to build the wheel. We can't. We don't even have access to the wood. These guys are in front of us. They keep pushing us down. We can't even build it. I have iron. I'm going to make these boats. And I'm going to make them ahead of time. They're going to not know what they're for. Just like don't believe me, this is how certain religious groups move across the nation. Across the globe.
No, 100%.
This is what they do.
They got to do it in silence. They know
they can't, not even in silence per se. Because they're not in silence.
I say silence in the scheme of...
in terms of the people that support them up high. Yes. They have no support. They're being pushed back. They're being
but they also can't, for fear of being either executed, taken out, or whatever. That's what I mean. They have to do it in silence.
Yes.
We have a tight group of people.
But has that stopped them?
No.
And so what we can learn something from them is that what they accepted was that the wheel's coming.
Yes.
Gotta do the
work.
And
you gotta
I
do the
may
work.
not see it in my lifetime, but I'm going to build this I'm going to build these boats.
I just think that there's and that's the work that we do anyway, right? We're at a point in a moment right now where I feel like we can get some people, but it's so polarized because a lot of people don't have, and even if we go back in certain generations, the gap between the wealthy and unwealthy is huge.
It's big. And I respect that. I really, truly believe that they didn't have the access to the information we have today. So whatever change that they were making in the past was on their level of thinking.
It may not be access to information, but it could be access to resource because they had those things. They had the money, they had food, they had shelter, they had these things. So I didn't necessarily need all the information, but I can get a group of people together and more heads.
No, now that's what I'm saying. Now we're seeing that those resources weren't enough because we sold them off for information. So now you got information. Okay.
But now we don't have the other resources.
Right, but it was at the price, to your point, it was at the price of those resources, yes. But now we have the information, which was way more valuable at the
what
now.
What you gonna do with the information?
Why? Because if I have those resources in no direction, it would have been worse. I feel like it would have been worse.
But that's what we have now. And the reason why I feel like we have that now.
I feel like we have direction that was not guided by us and no resources.
I feel like we have direction. We have information. And there is a thing of information overload.
But the direction isn't ours.
Huh?
If the direction was ours, we wouldn't complain.
I'm saying the cool thing about the generations in the past and them not having certain information is that because they didn't have access to the information, they were able to congeal.
And keep the direction.
Right. But I'm saying that has flipped because, and sure, maybe it's direction given to somebody else.
No, they saw their bigs go down. Let's call it what it is.
Right. They
couldn't even fathom that this was CIA, FBI, any of that driven.
Whatever it may be, I'm saying it flipped. And now we don't have the people who could do the grassroots work don't have the resources.
That's correct.
But we do have the information. But it's like information without the ability to do the thing doesn't matter.
And they know that. And they know that.
So
they know you ain't going to do the work.
Listen, and it doesn't matter if the information I'm even giving you, y'all can't even agree on if it's true information.
That's why I say they know that. They know that.
And that's what I'm trying. Bro, we're 180. That's the point I'm trying to make. They knew that from the beginning. This is why they offered us the information.
And that's why you made.
They saw what we did with the resource. Yeah. They were like, okay, they have all these resources. They could have killed us 70,000 times. They never did. They never revolted. They put their hands up and got upset, and we did a lot of things that pushed back and say we need our rights. Right. So I'm not saying that to crap on anything that happened in history. That we needed every piece of that. I'm saying the second part that we didn't have, we needed, which was the information. We sold it at the price of resources, okay? Call it whatever you want to call it. Those organizations went away at the price of resources because they were getting killed. 100%. People were literally bombing them, killing them. It was at the price of that resources that we got the information. So now we have data of having the resources that we can go back and pick up from other places. No, it's not readily available to us, but we have some freedom fighters that have gone and found that information, dug it up from the literal graves, and we have data of what it was like to have those resources. We don't know about Tulsa until somebody digs that stuff up. We don't know about Black Wall Street. But we have that data now. So we know what we were like when we had the resources. Now we know what we were like when we had the info. What I'm saying is,
we got to bring it together.
Come on.
I'm saying that.
Why we got to wait?
Here's my point.
Yeah.
All of that I agree with. Yeah. Once we do this, it's over.
Done.
Powerful
and
force.
That's all I want.
No, right. And I'm just saying the premise and idea is simple. The application is
not going to happen.
And
250 years they showed us.
And guess what?
That's what I'm saying. Not that it's not even not going to happen. I'm just saying.
Give up.
No, I'm not saying even get up. I'm just saying the fear, because rhetoric I do believe is strong.
Sure.
The fear of going to people, for me, going to people and saying, hey, it's that simple. We have this. We know what this is. We just got to bring it together.
Sure.
when they're saying this is why the Republican Party right now is in power and Trump is in power right now. I think Democratic Party was talking a lot about things that people at the time feel like, I don't really care about, bro. I can't afford groceries. That's how they feeling, right? Mm-hmm. Even though I do believe the information that the Democratic Party was giving was better. But it wasn't connecting with what was going on over here as far as the real life. So if we go with the, that's what I'm saying. If I go to the people and say, hey, and they're feeling like, yo, I don't even have the basis of even getting to the next step. I can't even see that future because I'm trying to figure out what the next meal is.
I haven't eaten in 2 days.
That's what I'm saying.
Huh?
So we have to do, and some of that is the build is, some of the build is the programs that we start ourselves so that we give people the resources that they don't have. But it also takes people who have the resources to be able to come down
everything
with
that I love to hear, because these are what we call microcosms. And they exist and they're real, and I'm not shunning them away. They're supposed to be there. That's because these are emotions and attachments to the things that are happening.
To keep you down.
Hell yeah, they like,
bro. What I've learned in this
eat.
conversation right now is where your proximity to life and death in terms of time will dictate what makes sense to you.
100%.
Right now, there's certain people that understand that the wheel is closer than we think. And we've been sold this bill of rights that the wheel is so far down the line because, look, it's in 250 years. You can't no way catch up. Yep. So what do? We put another 250 years in front of us and say, since we got another 250 years, let's continue to make these little baby steps. Right. And I'm saying to you, the data has not proven in the 250 years that we had that those baby steps won't work. Yeah, so if I'm saying we know that to be true, I have to change my perspective. I don't have 250 years. I got 4. What you trying to do?
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't think, I am not, and this, there's people who are like me who would not agree that the baby steps have not worked to a certain degree.
No, they work. And I hate to say they don't work because I don't, like I said, there's people there.
And that's what I'm saying is that's why I think rhetoric is so important.
Yes.
When you,
careful.
It's not just you. I'm just saying in general. This is why people feel a way about their politicians. That's why I feel a way about the Democratic Party. That's why I feel a way about the Republican Party. Is y'all speaking these large generalities, bro, and you're not getting to...
You forget there's people behind those numbers.
Exactly. Yes. So you say... I'm not saying you. Generally, you might say something like, we have data for 250 years and the small steps ain't working. And it's like, damn, I can point to the ones that are and I can point to the ones that aren't. So there are some things that are working. There's some steps that we could take that continue to go, which also are some steps that maybe continue to hold us back because I've seen it work one time, so maybe it could work again. And you're saying, I've seen it work one time, but I'm telling you, I get to see a bigger picture and we need to move the ball forward. And I'm saying the way our system is set up right now,
it's hard to even consider
to consider, and you only have 4 years, and that's why a lot of people feel like it's not even going to happen in 4 years.
Yeah.
Because
so what if we do so much damage in this? And I say we because I'm not a Republican. I did not vote for him. I'm going to keep saying that. When I say we, I'm talking about people that are actually just trying to enact a sweeping change, whatever that looks like.
I'll give you this. I can't remember, but was it the second term when Obamacare went through?
Yeah.
That was like the second year or the second term?
Like officially. Like
so we're in year 6.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. It takes time to make these changes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Even something like United Healthcare and Obamacare, that's what they coined.
I was going to say, because wasn't like Obamacare went through.
Oh, is it shot time?
Oh, hey, listen, we got to go. I didn't even notice. Oh,
all right, me either.
Okay, hold on, we got to go.
My bad.
Listen, it's the end of the night. Wait, you got to do this.
Come back next week.
Yeah. It was up.
It's up.